Chi-Town production. We can kick this thing off. Big ups Inglewood, Cali, and the rest of the world. We're talking about the money mindset. I got my mind on my money, money on my mind, finger on the trigger. They call me 9. Yes, sir.
107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Facts. Big ups Zodiac. Share this link. In entering upon this course of instruction, each of you should, so far as possible, lay aside for the time being all previous theories and beliefs. By so doing, you will be saved the trouble of trying all the way through the show to put, quote, new wine into old wineskins, end quote. Luke chapter 5, verse 37. If there's anything as we proceed which you don't understand or agree with, just let it lie passively in your mind until you have enjoyed the entire show. For many statements that would at first arouse antagonism and discussion will be cleared and easily accepted a little farther on. After the show is over, if you wish to return to your old beliefs and ways of living, you are at perfect liberty to do so. But for the time being, be willing to become as a little child. For said the Master in spiritual things, quote, except ye become as little children, ye shall in no wise enter into the kingdom of heaven, end quote. Matthew chapter 18, verse 3. If at times there seems to be repetition, please remember, the Self Luv Show is a lesson, not a lecture.
And even in this instance, if I could be of service to a 9-year-old girl or a 19-year-old woman or girl who wants to be a woman, is to really remember that self-love is the best way that you can receive love from anybody else, because it's coming from you. A lot of times we forget that. We look externally for this love. We look externally for this feeling of validation and adoration and approval, and it has to come from within.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Buddy. Chi-Town native in the building. Yes, sir. Let's do it. Self Love Vision. Yes, much better. Chi-Town in the building. We're down. We got a great one today. A greater one, I should say. Got a very powerful panel lined up today. Some cats who have, in my opinion, and the results speaks for my opinion. They've been extremely diligent, arduous. I don't know if that's a word. So we want to unpack. We're going to unpack what their mindset is, where it started. How can we get it? How can it be cultivated? So we can get that bag too. What down, Chi-Town? What down to the rest of the world? Welcome to Chi-Town's very own, the Self Love Show, where we got two mottos. Motto number one, on earth as it is in heaven. Bing! Put them on TV. Big ups to my mama Sky and all the ancestors. And our second motto is as above, so below. Right now we can be reached, Malcolm, exclusively on this YouTube channel. This ain't that network. This ain't Fox. This ain't NBC. This ain't ABC. This ain't Disney. This ain't TNT. This ain't ESPN. But what it is this ain't that network. TATN. Huh? 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 This your co-host 9 Millie, also known as Self. One of the selves. What down, Chi-Town, what down? Repeat after me. I am greater than my excuse. I am greater than my excuse. I am greater than my excuse. Today is Hump Day, Wednesday, June 8th. We live and in living color at 8:05 p.m. in the city of Chi, 6:05 p.m. in the city of Inglewood, Cali. And we always like to acknowledge that all of you cats can be any place in this magnanimous universe. And thankfully, we all Scooter chose to be here together. Here, together. What down, brother Wordsmith? What you manifesting today, sir?
I'm manifesting love, man. You know me. I'm manifesting love. What you manifesting?
Man, you know me, Nope. Pure, magnanimous, unfettered, unfiltered, often harsh, tough, but love just the same.
No doubt.
Yes, sir. Hey, what's been going down on your neck of the Chi, man?
Oh man, well, it ain't exactly happening here, but I just want to wish my brother happy birthday, belated. His birthday was yesterday. Jazzy, love you. It's a blessing. The weather's been a trip here. I don't know what's going on with it. Cold and rainy.
That's what's up. Happy birthday, Jazzy. Happy turn around the burn out there. Many, many, many more turns around that burn, if you so choose.
Facts.
You know? And what'd you say? It's a lot of rain today, I heard on Greater Beta TV.
Yeah. It's odd. It's kind of cold for this time of year.
Yes, sir. All right. Nothing else in your neck of the woods. We got what to expect today. As always, we got the Self Love Show quote of the day. And then we run a less than 1 minute video. It's our platform. It's called the More Growth and Development Program. It's the platform that we stand upon. Okay. It's our foundation. All right. It's the show's foundation. And Silverdale coming soon. Tattoo Tyranny. We unpack, react to a short video. Self Love and I, we discuss it, and we vote yay, tyranny, or nay, not tyranny. Then, of course, we got the dome teaser. Many of you normies out there may refer to it as a riddle. And so we'll give you the dome teaser at the top of the show. We'll unfortunately have to give you the answer or the key at the end of the show, because 9 times out of 10, you guys aren't doing it. All right. Been getting a lot better lately. I must acknowledge that. Then, of course, we have our topic, how to accumulate wealth. This is a 2-part series. This first one is 101, and it's more geared towards the mindset, reprogramming the mind. Imagine some cats are, naturals at it. Maybe some had this, rammed into them, as they were, growing up. Maybe they learned it along their journey, or they just had a knack for it. We'll see. And our panel today features Dr. Lawrence A. White, but he's an entrepreneur. And then, of course, we've got Dr. Marlon Hubbard. He's an entrepreneur. And then we have attorney Cannon Lambert. You all may know him from, they did a documentary. I think he was part producer. I'm pretty sure he was. And he represented the late Sandra Bland. He was the lead attorney on that. And he's an entrepreneur. And then, of course, we may have Knowledge Beckham from the Dropping Knowledge podcast. He hit me on the side. He feels like he's going to make it, but he's out on the grind. He's out at a proper time, making it happen. Then, of course, we've got next week's sneak peek. And that's, where we tell you what we got lined up for you next week. And then, of course, my personal favorite part of the whole shebang. And that's where this brother to my right comes out there off the top of the rip, off the top of the dome. Okay. No pre-written nothing. And freestyles, a nice little summary, some pros of today's show that we're going to unpack. Announcements. I want to give a condolence to Anthony Cake Clark. He passed away, made his transition, and man, I got a strong ancestor up there.
Thanks.
Tough to believe that this brother is no longer with us. He actually sat on the Self Love Show, but of course, that show was deleted when the other shows were deleted. It's amazing, ain't it? It's amazing. But rest up, brother. Man. Self, you got anything you want to add to that?
Condolences to his family, and all of us are in shock. I don't know what happened or any other business, but prayers are big ups. Love you.
Man. Yeah, and life is precious. Like Self Love said, we don't know the 5 W's of what happened. Doesn't really matter. He transitioned, and he's in a much better place than here. But you can't stop the violence out there. All right, stop the violence out there. You got any other announcements, Self?
No, just like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, share far and wide. Let's get this information to the people who need it.
Facts. Facts. Okay. Yeah. And if there's any entrepreneurs, we want to hear from you. Okay. Anybody who may be embarking upon, that journey, or, you got your little soldiers working for you. You know what I mean? We want to hear about it. Today's the show for it. Put it in the chat. Again, today's show is more about the mindset. We're going to come back in 2 weeks with the same panel. If they're not all available, we'll have most of them. These are movers and shakers out there. So we appreciate the time. And as always, if you got any questions, type them in the chat. It's very interactive, and be respectful, and then we can get a perspective for you. So enough of my yapping. I'm going to turn it over to this brother on my right so he can handle his business.
Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, share far and wide. Let's get it to the people who need it. Welcome to the Self Love Show. As Nine said, we're going to break down how to accumulate wealth with a great panel. As always, we have a very important video for you to check out. As Nine said, this is what we're building our platform on, the More Growth and Development platform. We're building the Self-Love Nation off of. And for that, as always, we have the Self Love Show quote of the day. Wealth is largely the result of habit. Once again, wealth is largely the result of habit. John Jacob Astor. Check this video out. Right back at you. Silverback More Growth and Development platform. Number 1, repair our nation via reparations. We demand our silver back. Number 2, to connect our breadwinners with our activists. And 3, show an accurate depiction of African American Chi-Town. 4, shine a light on positive influence. 5, heal our community one person at a time. 6, provide an unfiltered platform for our influencers. 7, recycle the black dollar. 8, to provide mentors for the mentorless. 9, to close the gap between us and our pink kinsmen.
Yes, sir. We're going to get that gap, that young gap flow. Yo, and big ups to Sukia Reed, microaggressions and the black woman in the workplace. Magnanimous show.
Yeah, wonderful show. Action-packed, filled with information.
Tell you what, if I could bottle up half of that energy and put it in an energy drink, which I'd be a billionaire.
Man, and she was not feeling well.
Yeah, big ups though. Yeah,
she's in the chat.
All right. Yeah, big ups to you, Suki. We appreciate you doing that.
Man, greatly.
Yeah, and so you guys, I definitely suggest that you check it out. I watched it a couple times myself. And great live. It's always nice when we got a female in the building. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Women they're great.
Yeah, it's a different energy. So
Yes.
and you guys like, share, and subscribe. You know, let's get it in. Like, share, and you definitely want to subscribe. So let's see here. Checking one thing, bro.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So yeah, we got Mama Suki said, "What's up?" Champagne in the house. Look at her. She's a townie. And she said, "Thank you." So yeah, we appreciate your support. You guys like, share, subscribe. Let's put this link on our social media and get them in the building. This topic will get us. This topic could get us to where we need to be. Yes, just chill.
Thanks.
And the cream typing one of the guests. Wrong. We see you.
Yep.
Alrighty. All right. So, moving it right along here. All right. Yeah. Did you see the 12 lifeguard 12th responders?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, yeah. I think pigs don't like water out there. Big ups to Inside Edition. Fair use.
It's shocking video as a man jumps into a reservoir and struggles to swim. Police are right on the scene. And as the man begs for help, he drowns. The officers watched without intervening.
Wow.
And now that's causing a major uproar. Jim Murray has the latest.
It started as a routine police call of a husband and wife arguing in public.
Did you guys get into a physical confrontation?
The officers make small talk, biding time as they check to see whether either have any outstanding arrest warrants. Suddenly, the husband climbs over a railing and sits perched alongside a reservoir where swimming is not permitted in downtown Tempe, Arizona.
What are you doing, my friend?
The man scoots down to the water, and cops warn him not to go in.
What are you doing?
Right. He said that all casual.
Yeah.
See if they had
The
any
man
warrants. That's
swims
not
off
legal.
anyway.
How far do you think he's going to be able to swim?
There he is, way out in the water. The edited body cam video stops due to what police are calling the sensitive nature of the material. Police transcripts show the man soon began begging for help. An officer told him, "I'm not jumping in after you." "I'm drowning," he yelled. Then a police officer told him to come back over to the pylon. The man, identified as Sean Bickings, responded, I can't. That's when the officer said, "Okay, I'm not jumping in after you." His distraught wife yelled at the officers, "He's drowning right in front of you and you won't help." Reporter
didn't
Alexis
jump in
Dominguez is covering the controversial drowning for 3TV and CBS 5 in Arizona.
We obviously hear some outrage from people who are, saying that officers are meant to be here to protect the community. We also are hearing other people say, officers could have been put in danger themselves had they jumped into Tempe Town Lake to save him.
We showed the video to retired LAPD Sergeant Cheryl Dorsey.
We're talking about police officers, not lifeguards. And so while the optics are difficult, there's an assumption that the police officers can swim. Assuming that perhaps they cannot, they would be of no benefit to him if they jumped into the water.
At least one officer did try to get a rescue boat, according to published reports.
The 3 Arizona police officers have been put on non-disciplinary administrative leave while the matter is under investigation.
I just think it's morbid that they can sit there and watch somebody drown like that.
Yeah. I don't.
It was a shocking.
I don't know what to say about that.
I mean, his own wife didn't jump in either.
Oh no, that's facts. You're absolutely right. And
She's sitting around jumping.
police do not have to protect you. Did you know that? They don't have to protect you. There was a case in 2018 that the court said that the police were not wrong for watching someone get attacked with a knife and not intervening.
Yeah. Was that a Supreme Court case?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, solution-wise, I mean, I think, with all the money that they're spending on this and that, maybe they can, have some flotation devices in the car, something they can throw out there, or, something.
Yeah, because I mean, like, even on the like a lot of the bridges,
right? They have
on the rivers
yes.
have that attached.
They sure do.
You throw that right in there.
They sure do. Where you untie the rope and throw it on out there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, so all right, tyranny, yay, nay, or
I don't
abstention.
really. Yeah, I really don't think I can call that tyranny.
I'm a big proponent of put yourself in these officers' shoes. And I know my swimming abilities. The shape I'm in now, wearing a full uniform without, stripping down to my drawers. Can you say stripping down to your drawers on YouTube?
I'm pretty sure.
Well, getting out there and getting back and bringing that guy back with me?
I mean, yeah, I know for a fact that I would not be able to do that. So
I also feel like I couldn't just sit there and watch him drown. Well, I'm not coming in after you.
I mean, they asked him what he was doing, and they told him, you can't swim in there. And he said, I'm going for a swim. I mean,
well, what's this whole thing about? And the police were just checking him and his wife out to see if they had outstanding warrants.
You know what that was about?
That was tyranny.
Yeah, that part was complexion. But that was just an excuse, as far as I'm concerned.
For harassment, which probably
were not jumping in.
Which probably led him to jump in. Tyranny. Obviously, he was trying to get away from the pigs. We need more body cam footage. We need to know what was happening in the whole conversation. What made this man jump into the water?
Prior to that, where they started.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. All right. But based upon what I saw, we're going to give 12 a break here. I'd like to think that one of them would have had some, say, balls or swimming abilities and went out there and been like I saw on TV my whole life, showing up, with Punch and John. Punch! Ride your motorcycle up to the edge of the bridge. You know what I mean?
Ride it off in there and then ride on the water and pull him out.
Punch and John would have figured it out. All right. We're going to move on. You guys like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. Hit that notification bell. All right.
Man.
We're going to move on to how to move or not how to move. So we're talking about 12 privilege here, Self. 12 privilege.
It was a shocking story. An elderly man fatally shooting a young father inside a movie theater after an argument broke out over texting. The shooter ended up being found not guilty of second-degree murder. Now the victim's widow tells Inside Edition she believes justice was not done.
The wife of the man gunned down in a movie theater is speaking out for the first time since his killer was acquitted.
Not guilty, at least to me, does not equal innocent.
It was date night when Nicole and Chad Olson went to the movies to see the Mark Wahlberg action movie Lone Survivor. But before the movie even started, they got into an argument with 71-year-old Curtis Reeves, a retired police captain. Chad Olson was texting his babysitter when the former police officer told him to put away his phone. The argument escalated from there. Olson threw a bag of popcorn, and Curtis Reeves reacted by pulling out a handgun and shooting him in the chest. The deadly incident happened outside Tampa in 2014, and after 8 years of delays, a jury found Reeves not guilty of second-degree murder after he claimed self-defense, saying he feared for his life.
You believe justice was not served?
No, absolutely not. There was doubt, and what that was that the jury saw, I don't know. Maybe it was his age or that he was a prior police. To me, no, justice was not done.
Nicole, who was sitting next to her husband, was also injured in the shooting when the bullet hit her ring finger.
A little crooked, and I can't bend it and close it all the way.
Nicole says she still does not have closure after losing her husband in such a horrific way.
He was the love of my life. He was just an amazing, awesome, outgoing, caring, kind man.
Their 10-year-old daughter, Lexi, was just 22 months when her father was shot to death. Now the family is trying to move forward, launching the Olsen Family Foundation in hopes of helping victims of gun violence.
So this is the light at the end of the tunnel where now we can turn things around and give back and keep his legacy alive.
Yeah, so privilege.
Wow. That's disturbing.
Man, it should be horrifying. Like, it wasn't like the guy was talking on his cell phone. He's texting.
Right.
Now, should he have been toughening up with the older guy? I mean, if the older guy is talking to him out the side of his neck, hey, I'm a grown man, you know what I mean? It depends on what was said to him and how.
Yeah.
To make him want to throw popcorn on him.
I mean, for God's sakes, he just threw popcorn on him. He pulled a gun and shot him. How's that not second degree?
Shot him in the chest, and he's a retired police captain.
Right.
Right.
He should know better.
Right.
I feared for my life works for every goddamn thing with these guys, and it's some crock of shit.
Well, I used to say it in the 90s, Self. If that's the case, anybody, any gang member should be able to say that too.
Yeah.
I feared for my life. These guys was looking for me. You know what I mean? Right. I mean, 9 times out of 10, that's what's going on.
Facts. That's just pathetic.
It is pathetic. It's pathetic. I would say that's not how to move when it comes to our community on a bunch of levels. Yes.
Both sides. Like,
mind your business when this guy's texting. He'll probably be. Is the light bothering you that much? If you have another issue, call an attendant.
Well, he's a former police captain, so he thinks he's got authority over everybody. So that's, crapulous at best.
And to let him walk?
Yeah, I mean, that's, 8 years. 8 years.
He got 8 years?
No. That's how long it took the case.
They struggled. Yes.
That girl was 22 months old. She wasn't even 2 years old, and she's 10 years old now.
Yeah, he drug it out, so now he can show up to court looking like an old man.
Yeah. Well, he was an old man any damn way, but he's trying to live it out. Like, maybe I'll, I won't even live to make it to trial. BS.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty remarkable. It's pretty remarkable that we live in such a time, where an elder can't, I don't know. That's weird. It's weird. And then the other guy throwing popcorn, yeah, that's not a good look either.
No, at an elder. What I mean?
At anyone.
Yeah, facts. But at an elder, but he could have punched him or something. So, what I mean? Throwing the popcorns, nowhere near worthy of death.
Correct. A shot in the chest with probably a 357 or something. Exactly.
Man.
Wow.
It went through him. Obviously, it hit his wife's ring finger.
That's what they said?
Yeah, it says she was hurt in the incident too, as the bullet struck her ring finger.
Wow. Maybe it grazed her.
It was crooked. It was crooked, and she said she couldn't bend it all the way and close her hand.
Yeah, maybe it grazed her.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, we got okay, we got to get the dome teaser, and then we'll get this show on the road. Okay, here we go. Here's today's riddle, you guys. Darion's father has 3 sons: Snap, Crackle, and Blank.
Heard this one before.
All right, Self's heard it before, so he's got his thumb up.
What's
Darion's father has 3 sons: Snap, Crackle, and Blank. All right, well, we got 2 of our guests in the waiting room. I think we're supposed to have 2 more. One said he'll be late. Haven't heard from the third one yet. My captain, captain, maybe that's him in there. But go ahead, Self Love. Let's run the promo video. Appreciate you guys. We're getting you in 2 minutes. And then, you guys make sure next week, as Suki mentioned, she touched on it, we're doing how to accumulate income. This is a 2-part course. The first course is 101, and that's simply reprogramming the mind.
Firstly, rich people are primarily focused on spending, while wealthy people are interested in investing.
We talk a lot on this show about, how we've been programmed. We've had you guys hypnotists come on the show. Stay muted. Talk about the subconscious.
A rich person can spend lottery money they've won and end up being poor, while a wealthy mindset is such that a wealthy person would rather
things of this nature. So next week is 101, and on the 22nd it'll be 102. And that'll be suggestions and startup suggestions and ways to get a bag.
Number 1, the wealthy think long term. According to Dr. James Daly, who explains in his article The Mindset of the Wealthy, the poor and those who are likely to stay poor aren't thinking about their lives in 20-year, 10-year, or even 5-year spans. They're thinking about Friday night.
So that's what we're on, and if anybody would like to be part of a panel, you can reach out to us at 424-900-6945. You can text, or you can drop a comment. That's 424-900-6945. That's troll free. Or you can drop
troll free.
Trolls get holes around here.
Yes, sir.
Try us if you want to, or you can just drop a comment into the comment section on this video, and then we'll reach out to you accordingly.
They're thinking about Friday night, or what they're going to have for lunch. The middle class do start thinking about the future and planning for their retirement, but usually not until their mid-50s, while the wealthy, who are planners as a rule, started planning their retirement in their 20s when they received their first paycheck.
Tomorrow, 9 p.m. Chi-Town time, we got mouthpiece included.
What's going on? This is Cotton Eye. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because subscribing makes you feel good.
Do you still have them?
Look at that picture, man. She got 2 different. It's a mirror. Bro, that picture at the end of that video hasn't been debunked. You can kill it. Hasn't been debunked with the white girl looking in the mirror, and she's got in the mirror self, the reflection, she's got her mouth open, and in the picture it's not. And they can't debunk the picture, bro. It's like the Matrix glitched. It's right at the end of that video, man. I'll send you a copy.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, all right, we got 2 of the guests here, and the first guest is DDS. He's the doctor, and he owns Comfort. Well, he's CEO of Comfort Dental Studios, and they've been expanding. And also, he has earned his MBA, his Master's of Business Administration out there. So he's going to be great to chop it up with on the money mindset. So that's going to be Dr. Lawrence A. White. Self Love, handle your business.
Yo, yo.
Welcome, my brother. Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh man, big fan. Long time listener. Second time guest. Yo.
Hey, Noop, appreciate you doing this. And for anybody who doesn't know, we pinned the link to his dental practice at the in the chat. So definitely click on that, and he comes highly recommended.
And I, as I would also highly recommend. Lovely smile.
All right. And then secondly, we have Brother Cannon Lambert, Sr., as I see.
Oh.
Here. Yeah. So.
Yup.
Yes, he represented Sandra Bland. He's a partner in Karchner and Lambert. I also put his link if you need some legal services. I place his link into the chat as well. But Self Love, handle your business.
Welcome. Thank you for doing this again. Been on
Y'all
before.
still pretty. Y'all still pretty. You're still pretty.
Hey, ain't nothing but animals here.
Yeah. What's
good to see you all, man. Really good to see
nothing
you
but
all.
animals. Nothing but animals. Thank you, Dr. Law, for the clarification. And,
Yeah, I was gonna get it clear because I was his dean.
You can't help yourself, man. You can't help yourself.
Hey, handsome is one thing.
Right.
And pretty something else. I don't know.
Hey, the older I get, I'm okay with not even being handsome. You know?
Hey, you can't dim no shine, man. You can't dim no shine.
All right, y'all. So now, knowledge. He's at a property. He's gonna jump on. He said probably in about 20 minutes or so, 10. So we'll kick it off without him. And then my ship, I'm going to have to call him. I'm not getting a response. So my captain. So I'm going to have to get him on the phone here. But let's go ahead and, because I'm a firm believer of it is what it is, So it is what it is. But I will make some phone calls behind the scenes. So as you guys know, we like to jump right into it. And so what I'll do is I did have a few questions in mind, but I want to really, get into you guys' mindset. Some of it we did, during each of your lives when you sat with us. But this is more about the mental, the discipline. This is more of what we're about, what we're going to unpack here today. The mental fortitude that, gets you guys to where you are today, right? So that's what our questions are based upon. So I'll start this question in you guys' mind. Why isn't everyone rich, or why aren't more people fiscally, solvent?
Go ahead, Brother White. Why don't you start us off?
Oh, wow. Okay. You know what? I think there are a couple answers. Well, there are a few answers to that. One of them is, when we talk about wealth, there are people that are, they consider wealth in various forms. I'll just generalize and say some people are capitalists, some people are tree huggers, and there's a wide space for other variations therein or what have you. So when you talk about wealth, some people are feel wealthy with non-financial means, and they define wealth, so to speak, as far as their level of enrichment in life in non-monetary ways. So that's one aspect that I would consider. But then also, if you're talking about financial wealth and many people trying to get to a wealthy mindset, framework, lifestyle, whatever, I think you have to consider that it ain't easy, for one. And I think there's some things that need to be in place that stack upon each other that eventually get you to this place that we'll call wealth. And so it takes a while, mentally, emotionally, intellectually, to stack those necessary blocks on top of one another that will get you to a framework where you can say you're trying to be wealthy and that type of thing. So I hope does that make sense? I'm not just talking too much.
No, absolutely. Love it. You got anything to add to that, Brother Lambert?
Yeah, I mean, I think Brother White hit it right on the head. It's not easy to be rich. And there is a big distinction in my mind between being rich and being wealthy. I think everybody can be wealthy. Wealth is a state of mind. If you are happy and content and find some satisfaction in the day-to-day, then you're wealthy, whether you realize it or not. Rich, from a monetary standpoint, takes a lot of time. And I equate it to something like Steph Curry, who takes 5,000 shots a day, and you don't see those 5,000 shots a day until he hits the court in a game. But the work that he put in to get to the place where he can hit that shot that you're wowed by, that's something that really requires. It's required, and being rich is the same thing. You have to grind, and there is a grind. And let's not overlook the reality that there is a certain amount of, if you will, grace and luck and blessings that goes along with it. You didn't probably teach yourself to read, but somebody invested in you and poured in you. And some people don't have that. Some people don't have people that made sure they did their homework and they prepared themselves and they gave examples to people so that they could build from those examples instead of having to, start from scratch. So it's there's a lot of work that goes into it, and I think there's a lot of blessings that also play a role as well.
Yeah, and to add to that with the luck, we were all born in a country that's capitalist based. So I guess there's that. We could be in a third or fourth world country where the opportunities are even fewer. Not saying you can't, because a lot of people become billionaires and stuff in those countries, but to your point about luck. And I spoke to my ship on the sidebar. He's going to be on shortly too. So love to get his perspective as well. All right, I appreciate you guys sharing that. I'm going to start the next one with Brother Lambert. Well, first to you guys' point, sounds like you're talking about work ethic too. I think I read somewhere that working 40 hours a week, that's survival money. But people who are striving for, more wealth, they work on average probably 60 hours a week. That doesn't mean, you're at the dental office or you're in the law office, all 60 hours, but that means that maybe you're there later. All the other employees have left, and you're still there, and you've gotten there earlier. You're at home. You're educating yourself. You're doing other
60
things.
hours is kind of on the low side, but okay.
Low side, yeah.
Wow.
I think that's right.
Well, I forgot these are great beta noobs, so you know how they get. All right. So my question: it's been said that the wealthy don't trade time for money. Okay, so how is this true or untrue? And in your personal empire building process, and is it something that would it be something that you're working towards? So let me reframe that. So it's been said that the wealthy won't trade their time for money. Is this true or not true? Can you unpack that, Cannon? And then how's that working with what you're doing?
Well, I think at the core of that question really is the reality that time is money. Really, the most valuable commodity that we as human beings have is time. And so where you place your time, how you spend your time, and what you waste your time on really impacts your ultimate bottom line. And so, there'll be instances where you have opportunities to, go out and kick it a little bit as opposed to prepare. And if there's a lack of preparation, it ends up showing up on the back end. Or you could be out cultivating work and cultivating clients, and instead you're sleeping. There's this song I like, and the preamble to the song is Steve Harvey, and he's talking about you can't sleep at 8 o'clock. You can't be asleep at 8 o'clock in the morning if you live in Los Angeles, because there are people making decisions about your life in New York while you're down sleeping. And that's the reality of it. The world now and the way that we perceive and understand time now is very different than it was 50 years ago. We're on a 24-hour clock now. There's always something going on, and there's always opportunities for you to capitalize on. And so you have to be very careful about how you spend your time. And so for a few pennies, you might walk away from those few pennies so that you can invest your time in ways that will proliferate your financial growth.
That's a great perspective to that question. I know we were having some discussions similar to this, Dr. Law, on Greater Beta TV, and I think you had mentioned something about the difference between working the business and the business working you. I forgot how you put it. Like it's I guess getting the business to a place where like Gannon, you're a partner in the law firm, but getting into a place where you've cultivated the up and coming upstarts attorneys to kind of do more of your day to day, and then you branch out and you branch out and you branch out. So, but Dr. Law, can you touch on that question?
Yeah, we were, but just kind of briefly to talk about what you were saying. I think I mentioned that it's a blessing to be able to work on the business,
yes,
as opposed to simply working in the business.
Yes.
And that is, talking about wealth, and it's not an overnight kind of a thing. It requires a great deal of building. And as Cannon referred to Steph Curry, there are a lot, 99.9% of the shots he takes, no one ever sees, because they're taken during practice or when he's, working on his game by himself. And it's the same thing with working on your business. There are a couple of things, you have to work exceedingly hard to get to a place where you can work on your business and not in the business, because you have to work in the business so you know the business. And then after that, you've accumulated a certain amount of knowledge that allows you to delegate and put people in positions, and those people have to be accountable and responsible, and you have to communicate with them, and you're building a pyramid. And so that foundation has to be the work that you've put in, and those blocks that go on top of the foundation are the people that you delegate to put in these roles. And so as you're working on the big vision for the business, you have to cultivate the proper HR, you have to cultivate the proper personalities, skill sets, because you know the business, because you've worked in the business, so you know what needs to be done and how reliable these people need to be and what have you. And so you have to be the master, so to speak, of your business if you're going to work on it. And working in it is when you show up, 9 to 5, and you do whatever tasks and are involved in bringing in revenue. Working on it is really capturing the big philosophical goals for that business. And that's where I think the really big leap, I guess, that defines working in the business and working on the business is your ability to communicate that vision to those that are in the process with you. It's a constant communication of your vision, getting the buy-in, and getting that work ethic from people that are now helping you, pull that vision together. So you work in the business, and then you work on the business, and it just requires a great amount of communication.
Very powerful. Getting an echo. 1, 2. All right. Y'all got me now? Okay, that's better. All right. So I want to welcome Knowledge Beckham. He's here with the from the Dropping Knowledge podcast. Also,
Yo, Noop.
Entrepreneur as well. Self Love, handle your business.
Welcome, Noop. Thank you again. Appreciate it. I think I keep unmuting and he muting it. I think that's me out there. Okay. Appreciate for doing this.
That's me. Yo.
It's going to expand the Self Love Nation. Yep. Now it's going to really get good. It's already been gravy. Let's get it.
All right. So we're going to move to the next question. Well, no, Knowledge, I'll throw it to you. So this question that they were answering, it's been said that the wealthy don't tend to trade time for money. How true is this, or not true, or untrue? And during this your empire building process, is this something that is it a place where you're at, or is it a place that you're working towards?
Cool, great question. Also, Noop, if you were breaking up a little bit on my end, so if I'm breaking up on your end, let me know. But question, I think that's for the most part, that's true. I think there's a period of time that you do have to trade a little time for money while you're growing and learning whatever business it is that you're in. But ultimately, if you're going to scale that business, I think you understand that you can't trade time for money, right? So I think at that early period where you're kind of understanding that business, for me, one of the businesses that I'm in is real estate, right? Investing, flipping. And a lot of folks ask me, why do I spend so much time over at the property? So essentially, although I'm not working, I'm trading a little bit of time for money. But I'm over there because it's helping me to better understand things that are going on, right? The construction elements of it, how long things should take, et cetera, so that I can become an expert within that business. And eventually, as I heard Dr. Law talk about, as I start to work on the business and not in the business, I kind of have a feel for what's going on, what's happening, even though I'm not there, because I invested time early on in that business, right? And so that's why I answered the question that way, is I think that ultimately to scale it, however, I can't 3 years down the line still be sitting at a property all day. That's true trading time, right? I need to have 4 or 5 properties going on, and I'm not at either, right? But I'm getting my weekly reports, et cetera, and I understand what should be happening each week when we do our check-ins. Otherwise, I have to talk to my site manager to say what's happening. We should be out of there. We should be on to the next. So that's how I would respond to that question. Nope.
Hey, great.
Can I just jump in for a real quick second?
Absolutely.
I moved into my current office about a year and some months ago, and one of the things that I do, and it's totally built out from gravel pit to a dental office now. One of the things I do now, I mop the floors. I sweep the floors and mop the floors. And my staff has been on me, why don't you hire some janitorial person to do it or whatever? And I started doing it because I wanted to learn, number one, what was involved in keeping this place clean. Even for me to subcontract out to someone who's going to do that. But when you talk about being at the site, you have to be in the business. Man, I know when I get to mop and sweep, I see the other things. I see the places where there's paint wearing out, or there's a chip, or there's a crack. There's something that needs to be maintained or what have you. And so it gives you a deeper appreciation for what's going on. And it's also time for me to really be by myself involved in kind of thinking about the details that need to that need to be addressed in the business. And so, you know, it just struck me listening to you talk about how you go to the site and spend time there, because that's exactly the same kind of thing that I do. Absolutely.
Well, that reminds me of a story, because, you know, I'm an information gatherer, and knowledge is always like, yeah, you got to act on the information. I'm getting there, but there's a billionaire. I'm trying to remember the company he works for, but multi-billionaire, and he was the author of this book was saying that he was riding with this guy. He owned the stadium, like he literally owned the stadium, and they were driving by and he saw a light bulb that was out, Dr. Law, on the side of the stadium. And my man got out and went and changed the light bulb, and he owned the stadium. So you saying that kind of, you know, on the one hand, I'm like, yeah, Dr. Law, you could be using your time like calling the bank and getting another loan or something. But he had the same opinion that you had. And he also said that it shows everyone around him, you know, the attention to detail, you know, that's necessary, you know, to get to certain
I take out the garbage, I clean the toilets, and because I don't want anyone to think that I'm too good for whatever. So whatever I'm asking you to do or telling you to do or suggesting or advising or whatever, it's coming from a place of sincerity and for the greater good, and just getting it done and what have you.
Right.
Thanks.
Man, well said. Well said. All right. We're going to jump to the next one. I'll start this one. We'll start this one with Cannon. Well, no, it's on, we'll start this one with KB, and then we'll go back to Dr. Law. So we'll start this one with KB. When did you acquire the quote, end quote, millionaire mindset, and where do you think it came from?
That's a great question. I think I was fortunate to be born with a hustle, but a hustle is not a millionaire mindset, right? A hustle is hustle's important, and I was born with that. Over the years, I think I developed my business acumen through experience, but I think the millionaire mindset, for me personally, actually happened pretty recently, and it was through network marketing. Right, I got involved. It was a time after I'd done some real estate before, had taken some hits to my credit, and I got involved in the network marketing company that focused on credit restoration. And if you've ever done network marketing, a big piece of network marketing is mindset, right? And so you are, suggested reads. A lot of the folks that, you know, when you're going to weekly meetings, you're being around like-minded people. Although there's a ton of different types of people that are in a network marketing sort of organization. At the top, the things to lead about is really shaping mindset. And I think as you start to work in those types of businesses, learning information, reading books, listening to certain, mentors, virtual mentors, motivational speakers, but then you also start to talk to the general public. You start to specifically in an area like credit and how important credit is. And you talk to a gentleman one day who has a couple kids, they're married, et cetera, and they have a 580 maybe, right? And you're friends with that person on Facebook, and they're saying, yep, I need to get started. You know, we're paying 15% interest on our cars. 4 months later, you see them at the Bears game out of town. And it's like, wow, you still haven't gotten started on your credit. Like, I get that we want to kick it and hang out, and you really start to see that there's some real issues, right? And it almost makes you tighten up to say, hey, I don't want to be that guy. And it really just got me super on point to say, wow, you know, we're in a state of emergency. And so for me, it really accelerated my learning, and also, you know, and I'll wrap it up here. One of the things that's been a godsend for me is really social media. So a lot of people, you know, don't necessarily like social media, et cetera. I always tell people the nice thing about social media is you can craft it to be what you want it to be, right? So I have a page that every post on everything that comes up is fire. It's all information, right? It's no women, it's no sports, it's no memes. It is all information. And so if I spend, because I'm gonna pick up my phone, I'm gonna jag off 30 minutes, not literally jag off Paul.
I'm gonna say you better get some women.
Well, that's 2
around
minutes.
Back to the women. They're gonna jag off. ATN.
So, you know, in terms of time, I'm gonna spend 30 minutes online, and so putting that information into my mind 30 minutes a day, 7 days a week, you see how it starts to add up, and this gives you all sort of pieces of information that have been helpful that I've added to my life. And so it's actually been a recent sort of development in my world, but that's fine because it's also accelerated my growth. I can see my growth happening faster than it ever has because of the mindset and the information that I'm taking in.
Dr. Law, great information too, Brother Beckel, man. Dr. Law, same question to you.
The millionaire mindset, you know, it's funny, man. I've been trying to make money for a long time. As a matter of fact, when I got out of dental school back in '89, wow. I worked 2 jobs, 6 days a week, and man, I made $60,000 in 9 months. Now, let me tell you, $60,000 in 9 months in 89, 90, straight balling, okay? But I didn't have the kind of I didn't have the kind of professional guidance. I did have a life guidance. My father was very much, an administrator with the Board of Ed. My mother was a teacher, very much a education, you know, pushing family and this kind of thing. So success and whatever was a part of me growing up. But my dad wasn't an entrepreneur. You know, he was a hustler. He was a hustler. My dad had, the first memory I have of my dad is him going out to night school after, you know, I'm 2 years old. He's leaving. Where's dad going? And he's going out to night school to teach. And he sold insurance, annuities, and this kind of thing when I was in high school. And that's how he paid for my college education at U of I. But so he was a hustler, but he was not an entrepreneur. And so his goal for me and my goal was to be a dentist. And so after I practiced for a few years, I got burned out. I didn't see a way out. It seemed very mundane. Do the same thing the same way all over again. And yeah, you make money, but it's not, there's more to me than just making money. You know, I want to blow up. I want to do something, you know, fantastic, be excited about what I'm doing every day. And I was at a point where I wasn't. I'll call it being burned out. And with that, I sold my practice in Chicago and went to LA and got my MBA. And that was kind of my way of trying to be productive while being burned out. You know, you get an MBA, it's got to be worth something. But being in Los Angeles, man, I was exposed to, you talk about money. man, if you're in LA and you can't get excited about rich people making money, you're just not awake. You know, I went jogging one day, and I had a 2-bedroom apartment that was Beverly Hills adjacent. And as you know, 9 Mil, being in LA, Beverly Hills adjacent is adjacent. It is not Beverly Hills. You Beverly Hills adjacent. But I went running and passed up this, what I thought was an alleyway, and saw just a parking lot filled with Bentleys and Rolls Royces. And come to find out that was the Rolls Royce dealership in Beverly Hills, the Beverly Hills Rolls Royce dealership. And that moment symbolized a moment where incredible wealth became real, tangible, very tangible. You want to see incredible wealth, look at those 40 Bentleys in that parking lot, you know, and that's, you know, it's possible. It's possible. So I became I knew that there was a key. I didn't know necessarily what the key was, but I knew there was a key to doing.
What do you mean? You were trying to key scratch one of the Bentleys? Trying to start it up and drive it off the lot? Test drive it?
No, bad, man, you would see me in Beverly Hills jail. But eventually came back to Chicago and started working as a dentist and what have you. And I continued to read and expand my understanding of the world around me, expand my understanding of myself, my talents, my gifts that make me unique. What can I monetize? How can I monetize my uniqueness? And I understand that, one, I'm not necessarily good in the things that I'd like to be good at. My talents are, I have an exceptional personality for a dentist. I don't have an exceptional personality for a singer or an actor or any number, or a chef or any. I have an exceptional personality for a dentist. And so I leverage that. Now, I wish I could be a great basketball player and have an exceptional personality for that, but I can't. For a dentist, I know what I'm doing. And the minute I accepted that and embraced that, then other possibilities came into play. And that's kind of where the mindset came from. I know myself and accept my limitations and my gifts, even if they aren't the ones that I'd like to have. I can't pick and choose. God gave me what I got, and I'm going to work with it. And so, you know, that's kind of how the millionaire mindset became tangible and real to me.
Yeah, it sounds like you were stagnant, and then you know, you broke through it. You stayed with it, and you broke through it, and now he's got a process, gentlemen. And I think you guys would. I don't know if he's, you know, looking for investors, but you guys might want to invest in what he's doing.
Hey, that is absolutely, yeah, that's where we're going. And well, we can talk more about that.
Yeah, but that's the next show. That's going to be 102. We're staying with the mindset. All right, Cannon. Yeah. So the same question to you, bro.
Yeah, so it's easy for me. When I was a little kid, I didn't like people telling me what to do. And I figured that if I have enough resources, money, I can do what I want to do, when I want to do it, with whom I want to do it, and wherever I want to do it. And so as a kid, my attitude was, get the hell out of my way, because I'm coming. And I don't know that anything's really changed. I don't want to be in a spot where somebody can stop me from doing what I want to do. I don't want somebody to tell me I can't go where I want to go. I'm damn for sure not going to let you tell me when I can do it, if I can help it. And so it really is, you know, there's a sort of drive that I think that I've been blessed with, but also a fear, really, if I'm going to be honest. I don't want to feel what it's like to struggle in ways that I've seen other people struggle. And I know that, you can learn a lot by just watching other people. My grandfather told me once, told me the best way to help poor people is don't be one of them.
Yeah, I read that too. Yeah, I read that too.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I mean, as a little kid, I was very proud of the fact that half of my family, my father's side of the family, from East St. Louis, the boogie, and there's not a lot of money in the boogie, as we all know. And I would watch how people, all of my aunts and uncles, my father, they all went to school. They got degrees, they got bachelor's degrees, they got secondary degrees, all of them. But they came from nothing, man. They came from nothing. My mother was 19 years old when she had me. Wow. Had holes in her stockings and that kind of crap when she was sending me to go play a clarinet. So she gave me everything so that I didn't know what it was to be broke, but I could still see what it was like when she was working 3 jobs. And that was not something that I was enticed by. I remember my parents arguing about money and being worried about whether or not they're going to have enough money. So that fear also sort of was interwoven in a goal set that I had kind of had built from an early age. And that mindset of a millionaire is really one that, to Law's point, it's attainable. And if people tell you can do enough, you start to believe it. And I was blessed in that respect because I had a bunch of family members, but constantly told me, you can do whatever you want to do. And my ignorant little behind, when 8 years old, believed it. I thought I could go to Mars. I thought I could be the president's president. I didn't think there was a limitation because I didn't hear anything different. I just literally didn't hear anything different. So I didn't believe anything different. And as a consequence, I attacked everything that's in front of me. And like I say, you get in my way, I'm gonna run you over. And that was just the mentality that I had, and by the grace of God, and some of the stupidity that I had, I was insulated from. I had soft landing spots because there were people looking out for me and people praying for me, even when I didn't know it. And there's a bunch of folks, a lot of the folks that are on this call right now, who have supported me, even though I may not have even deserved it. And, at the end of the day, you put all those ingredients together and you end up finding yourself where you are, and you just find yourself grateful. Yeah.
Man, I could have been a hell of a tailback with this guy running fullback in front of me. And get in front of me, I'll just knock him over. You know what I mean? Hey, did you play football, Cannon?
Yeah, you know that. You know that, sir.
Yeah, that's he got that boogie and boogie DNA in him too, boy. Run him over. All right, so and another thing, bro, you might be going to Mars if Elon and puts all
possible.
That. Yeah,
that's right.
You might be the 80-year-old guy on there, but yeah.
Strahan did it. He went up. He went up to space.
Yeah. All right. So, you guys, this one, I'll start with Cannon. This one is more about establishing a routine, and the question had something about positive morning routine, but it's pretty. I'm gonna stay away from that. But do you guys find that you have a certain routine? I'll start with you, Cannon. Like, do you wake up at the same time every morning or afternoon? If you're a night person. Anyone employing this technique, and has it been effective?
So I would just, my routine is kind of chaos. That is really my routine, in an organized and controlled chaos. I don't wake up at the same time. I don't sleep a lot. That's really what it comes down to. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. There's too much to do, and I figure I'll sleep when I'm dead. So. Even when my kids were little, I would start working after they went to bed. When my wife would fall asleep, I'd work at 11 o'clock until 3 o'clock, and then I'd wake up at 6 o'clock and I'd go downtown and you do your thing. I mean, there's a certain luxury in being able to create structure in your life. I think that early on, especially, I didn't have. When a client calls you and it's 11 o'clock at night, you either go or you miss that call or you don't get that case or whatever. So I understand the notion that you can try and create structure. And I believe that there are probably some people that do. I just wonder whether or not certain industries lend themselves more to that than others. If you're in the market, you probably don't have a lot of ability to control the stock market. If you're in a position where people aren't going to be knocking on your door after 6 o'clock, then you can probably have a little bit more of that. But even then, you're if you're really trying to grow your business and grow your position, it's probably difficult to do a 9 to 8 and to have a heck of a lot of structure, because you're so responsive to people that are trying to touch you. Grateful and responsive.
Mm-hmm.
KB, same question to you. Do you have an established routine as you go about your day?
I do not. There's some structure, but just due to the nature what I'm involved in, right? So I'm actually an entrepreneur with a day job, right? Flexible day job, but so you have that element going on, but I'm also at my job site, right? I have that going on. I've also, since I'm in the real estate world, I have good crews, et cetera, started a construction company, right? So if the day calls for me to go out and take a look at a job for someone else, I'll go out and take a look at that job with someone else, right? If there's some phone calls that I have to do because people are interested in becoming a real estate investor, I have a consulting company. So I'll talk to you about that and ask questions about what your goals are around there. And so for me, I like to keep activity, right? Because I have a sales background. And a sales background, one of the things that you appreciate is no day is the same, right? And that's one of the things I've always appreciated. It keeps me on my toes. It's hard to get bored. It's hard to get bored during my life because there's always different things going on, different types of activities. And so kind of to Cannon's point, it's a little chaotic, but I enjoy it and I like it because when I wake up tomorrow, I don't know how my day is going to go. I'm going to conquer it. Be multiple facets happening in my day, and that keeps me engaged. That keeps my wheels turning, etc. And that makes me want to get after it every day, right? Because no telling what can happen tomorrow from a positive side. And so that's always exciting. And that's always been exciting, even in sales. As I was coming up with the 9 to 5, I never knew what calls I would have the next day. It could be somebody give me an opportunity for a $2 million deal. It would always be difficult for me if I woke up to go to work the next day and I kind of knew what was going to happen. Mm-hmm. That was always very scary to me because I could see how I could get very complacent very quick if I knew what every day offered. So for me, I like not knowing exactly what that next day is going to be. Some structure, but not too structured where it's robotic.
Fair enough. And Dr. Law, same question to you. Do you like, I know Warren Buffett said that he'll stop at McDonald's every morning and get same sandwich. You know what I mean? Wake up, have a cup of coffee. You got your routine, or you don't?
You know what's funny is I'm not a huge breakfast person. I'll eat the same boring stuff for breakfast and be good because my focus is really on doing that and then getting out and getting at it. Like Cannon said, I have now a 15 and a 13, soon to be my 15-year-old, soon to be 16, but 2 kids that I have to, kind of help out and be around and whatever. And so after they're in bed, my wife's in bed, my kids tell me all the time, you don't sleep, so I enjoy having that time to myself to really get work done. And this is where working on the business and reading books and getting ideas and implementing things and this kind of stuff, that's where it really works out for me. One of the things that is kind of amazing is I spend my entire career trying to get all this technology and whatever in my office, and now I have the latest technology, and I'm not even the guy who's using it. My associates use more. They work with more of the instruments and the technology and the equipment on than I do. I don't do that. So I do. I've limited what I do clinically to simply veneers and implants. So it's very, very select, and everything else my associates do. And I'm trying to train them to do this stuff because they can, if I have 5 or 6 associates, they can do more implants and veneers than just one me. So, so that's very much where we're headed with this. But I don't really have a routine. I just don't, man. My motor is always kind of on, and I thrive by my curiosity. Listen to these gentlemen, and it's just, man, it just really inspires me. I read a lot of nonfiction. Whenever I'm watching TV, I'm watching historical or documentary or something like that. I'll watch some Marvel or something movies with my kids. But yeah, so my routine is that I'm trying to be inspired by what other people have done. I hate having to do things for the first time. I'm quick to copy. I'm quick to copy what works for somebody else and try to fit it into my little way of doing things. But
you'd be Burger King and not McDonald's.
I'm going to be McDowell's.
TATN and not ESPN.
Right.
But all right, so this one I'm going to throw to Dr. Law, and it's a 2-part question. You mentioned reading. My research has shown me that seems to be pretty important. So do you? So this question is: do you guys meditate? And then, do you, when you do your reading, is it for leisure or is it for, more educational purposes for your business, or a combination of both?
It's I enjoy. I mean, my leisure reading is business, man. I enjoy those books. I typically don't actually read. I usually listen to the books, audio books. Do that while I'm working out, or even 15 minutes at a time before I go to bed. Man, audiobooks is the best thing walking. It is the best thing. It just really allows you to focus your hustle. If you're interested in learning, I have, as a matter of fact, I curate a library of the books I read or listen to for my staff and my associates. Because if one of me is this good, just think of 3, 4 of me, getting ideas and using those ideas to grow the business, so to speak. But I have I call it Dr. White's Lending Library, and it'll have some clinical books that could be helpful, as well as some business-based books, everything from The Wolf of Wall Street that talks about straight line selling, having conversations with patients that are, and I translate that to conversations with patients and explaining treatment to them and treatment options and this kind of thing. Ray Dalio has another one called Principles, and talks about radical truth and radical transparency. And so I try to imbue my company with all of these. They're successful practices because the people that practice them successfully. But these ideas about being transparent, being honest, being curious, and so that's, man, reading or listening at this point. That's really what it's about, man. Being curious and having that motor to keep piling bricks on that'll build up this knowledge and grow the business. So I know I went a little off topic, but that's kind of,
Do you meditate?
Yeah. I don't. Man, my mind is always it's always humming, and I meditate when I'm mopping the floor.
Right.
When
Well,
I'm sweeping.
that is a form
That's
of
why.
meditation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, listening to audiobooks while you're working out is kind of a
Yeah.
meditation as well.
All right. So, Cannon, how about you? Is reading part of your toolkit, and then meditations?
So I don't really have much of a choice. A lot of what I do centers around a lot of reading. And the law is such that it changes and you've got to stay up on it. And then there are people that are doing things that you don't anticipate that you have to read about and find out whether or not you can incorporate it into the way you do what you do. And if you can't, or if you can, then you got to figure out a way around other things. And, so it constantly is to the curious point. You have to remain curious. So I do a fair amount of reading. I don't do leisure reading. Candidly, because I don't make the time to do that. I spend my leisure time around my kids as much as I can and that sort of thing. Really, my son, he's going to college in August, and so that was something hey, brother, he's going to Howard. I'm appreciative of that. Thank you. What's up? But a long time ago, I could see that stuff coming, and so you realize you got a limited amount of time, and so that's where I spend my leisure time instead of reading. But the meditation piece of it, though I don't do it regularly. I've done it once or twice. I can tell you, I don't know what I'm doing. I do think that there's a tremendous value in it. I was told by the guy who, it was one of the filmmakers of the film I was involved in. And he was talking to me about what it is to meditate. And he was telling me that there's no such thing as a perfect way to do it. You have to find your way through it. And I do think there's a value to calming your mind. But to Doc's point, I've not gotten there where I can stop the buzz in my brain. It's just, I don't know whether it's just anxiousness and the desire to achieve what I have set up in my mind as to be where I should be, because I'm by no means where I feel like I should be. I don't know if it's instead of the fear that I talked about of not being able to make sure that I look out for my family the way I want to, or what, but I haven't gotten there yet where I can feel comfortable in how to meditate.
Well, the meditation will get you there.
Yeah,
the meditation will get you
and I'll
there.
tell you this, I can't speak from personal experience with respect to that, but I fundamentally believe you.
Yeah, it will get you there. And what I'm gonna throw it to you, Knowledge. What I've learned is basically what I said to myself is, if I can't take 15 to 20 minutes out of every day to just sit down and be, right? Go to a quiet place. Nobody's bothering me. I'm not touching my phone. I'm not answering phone calls. If I can't do that, then what kind of life am I living? So, and it's really a way that it's called mindfulness. And what it does is, they say prayer is talking to God, meditation is listening to God. So kind of what it does is some of these things that you guys are doing with your business, as you're meditating, you're going to get brilliant ideas. You're going to but you just got to, I would say start out 5 minutes a day, because you guys are movers and shakers. You'll go crazy. Just start 5 minutes a day. And then the next week,
I receive that.
The next week be on 6 minutes. The next week be on 7 minutes. The next week be on 8 minutes. And then eventually try to get to 20 minutes. And you're going to go to a place. And it actually is, it's almost as good of rest as it is to sleep at night. But Knowledge, I'm going to throw it to you.
That's
reading
That's true.
and meditation.
Sure.
Yeah, I 1,000% agree with you, Mills, in terms of meditation. I do not. But 1,000% agree with you in terms of meditation. I think part of it is the fact that I don't have that sort of structured and organized life. I think if I had that, it would make more time, from 6 to 6:30 is my time to do X, right? If I had that sort of structure, it would make it a lot easier for me to get to. And so that is something that I'm thriving to get to. In terms of leisure, I pack kind of what Dr. to is learning, right? And I always kind of always ask people and challenge people to, if reading's not your thing, it doesn't have to be your thing, but then look at those alternative ways to take in information, right? So I can read, but I'd much prefer audiobooks, right? I watch Shark Tank, right?
Yeah,
I watch The Profit, right? I listen to podcasts, right? Follow things like Earn Your Leisure, right? So I pick up ways that speak to me, right? And I'm still learning, but learn your way. And that's something that I really push people to do is, we have options now. It's not just pick up a book and read, but learn. It can be through so many vehicles right now. It's just important to take the information. And even some books, right, that may be a little stuffy, a little boring, a little over your head, I can find a million YouTube videos with great information that may have people that look like you, that you can take information in, you'll get it. Earn Your Leisure. I like to shout them out every time I can. If you guys are not familiar with them, those two brothers are phenomenal.
Yes.
They're changing
subscribe.
So much information. So for any of your people that are not familiar with them, at Earn Your Leisure, you can dive in. If you take in 3 hours a week of Earn Your Leisure, after 6 months, that person, right? Because you're going to have all of these different types of information that's applicable to your life, right? How to buy a vehicle, how to become a real estate investor, how to improve your credit, like all of these things that's in your life. So not necessarily always about becoming a mogul. It's about how to improve yourself, right? And it's all literally around kind of business, entrepreneurship, and financial literacy. And so that's the way that I prefer to learn. That's the way that I enjoy learning.
I'm putting them in my Spotify right now. Earn Your Leisure.
Yeah. And they Black owned and operated. That's why I appreciate it. They had one with how to use credit to start your business, Yeah.
Let me tell you, just a quick side note for that.
Great.
I have contracts with my associates, and one of the parts of the contract stipulates that you must maintain a 720 minimum credit score. And that's because if I'm going to do business with you, I have to be able to do business with you. I have to be able to trust you in this type of thing. So by my associates obtaining, holding, having that minimal credit requirement, that lets me know that they're going to be about the business. They can be trustworthy in this type of thing. So just to your point.
And it gives them an added incentive not to just be out here jagging up, jagging it, like to use the term that knowledge you jagging it with no women around or something. Forgot how he said it. But, all right, something like that. But all right. So I'm sure you gentlemen have heard about the compounding effect. And I think that's, interest, like you get out of your 401k, your index funds and things like that. Now, but we're not there. That'll be next 2 weeks from now, the 102 show, when we talk about that and how to make money off stuff like that. But how can it be applicable to like everyday life? Like, do you think the compounding effect is only that? Do you think it only works with money and interest, or do you think it works, in a holistic way as well? Where you're going to keep getting benefits. And I think we started last time on Canon, right? So this time it's on KB.
The compound effect is just continuing to build on top of what's already there, right? And so for me, really quick, I've talked about kind of my real estate piece and real estate business. When I first started in real estate back in '99, right? That's when I bought my first building. I literally, for the next 8 years, learned from trial and error, right? The worst way to learn in real estate, right? It's through trial and error, et cetera. But it did give me experience, and I did learn a boatload, right? And so ever since then, as the internet's kind of caught up, as YouTube and new information, all I did is new information on top of information that I'd already had, right? And going through that process, that's an effect, the compound effect, right? Whereas you're getting information and adding more information on top of information. And so, but while getting information, right? So I guess in terms of away from money, while getting information, also executing on that information, right? And that's something that I kind of pride myself on in terms of I'm an action taker. And so if there's 100% of information to get, I don't wait till 100% to start working, right? And so I start working once I get to a point of a level enough where I'm comfortable, right? I'm not taking the biggest risk in the world, but I'm a big fan of kind of get started, continue to add information on top of the information that you already have. And all you do is kind of fine tune yourself as you continue to go along that path. And, you know, like all of us and all successful entrepreneurs or successful people, you're going to continue to learn throughout your life, right? So it'll always continue to compound. And as you get more information, usually what happens is you get more income, right? Because you learn how to do what you do better and for less money, less time, scale your business. You don't have to be in the business. You just become more proficient at what you're doing. And so compounding in real life is really real. And you're usually able to see the results in whatever it is that you're trying to do, right? Health, losing weight, like as you get more information, you just start to see the results and it seems to come a little bit easier, but that's because that information has compounded to an effect where you're at a certain level, you're operating at a certain level at that point that yields those results.
Like when you learn how to play the point guard position, you know, you was out there working on it. Now I can do this. Now I can learn that. Now I can learn that. Okay, Dr. Law, you got anything to add on that? And then we'll throw it to Cannon.
Not much to add at all. I really believe in just building those blocks. And that is absolutely what takes place, because as you learn, you're able to provide more context. And that's the difference between just knowing something and having experience. You know, that context, you're able to use that, and that helps compound. That makes the information more accessible, more usable. Absolutely agree with everything KB just said. Yep.
All right. Well, I'm gonna start with you on the next question, but Cannon, you got anything to add to that on the compounding effect?
So think about it this way. You wake up, you get a cup of coffee, you spill it all over yourself. Now you're pissed. You get in your car, somebody cuts you off. You're even more pissed. You're right. You get to the office and you can't find your key. Now you're really pissed. That compound effect really has an impact on what your day is like that day, right? Because you had a crappy day that day. Or you wake up and you go to the coffee shop and you give great energy and you get it back. And that seems to follow you, and every day things fall into place. Life is about people, truth be told, and business is about people. And the energy that you bring to the table in many instances is going to manifest itself. And so the compounding of that in a holistic way, when you ask about a holistic way, I think is really rooted in how we choose to look at life. Are you going to look over your left shoulder, or are you going to look over your right? You can't do both at the same time. If you look over your right and you see the positive in things, because it's always something there that's positive, you're likely to yield that. My ship, Al, he'll talk to you about it all the time. He don't want negative crap in his life. He don't want no negative crap in his life. So if you look on that left shoulder and it's nothing but negative crap, negative people, negative circumstances, and you focus on that, guess what you're gonna get? Can't go through crap without smelling like it, right? So at the end of the day, we have to make decisions, and we have the capacity to make decisions, and it does compound in the way that we experience our lives, I think.
Absolutely.
Facts.
Yeah, and I'm glad because people don't look at that. The compounding effect definitely works in a negative way. Like, if I was gaining an ounce of weight every day and somebody who was heavier than me was losing an ounce of weight every day or every month even, at some point, they're going to weigh less than me. They're going to be healthier than me. So it's a great point. It does work in a negative way and a positive way. And that even makes...
And we'll see you on the 600-pound life, too.
Right. Right. Somebody spending $10 a day, on a bag of tree, right? And then somebody else is taking that $10 and investing it, and the same time, just $10. It don't sound like a lot.
Yeah.
But, that's the compounding effect, one going one way, one going the other. But I think knowledge pretty much in Dr. Law, and you guys all broke that down pretty well. So, Dr. Law, I'm gonna start this out with you. You had something to add to that, Tori?
No, it was man, every lesson that y'all blessed the Self Love Nation with right there was incredible, because all from experience and knowledgeable individuals who want to see the best for people. This is just, hey, this is what the Self Love Show is all about.
Man, lessons, not lectures. Because Self Love and I could have sat up here and talked all this, but it wouldn't have been the same. All right, here we go. Just wouldn't have been the same. So that's why we bring the doers, the movers, and the shakers. All right, which All right, so here we go. This one's for you. Starting with Dr. Law, and then I'll throw it to Cannon. I'm sure you guys may have heard the phrase "eat the frog." So I'm going to ask you, and I'll break that down for anybody out there who hasn't. Have you established a to-do list? I know you guys said you're not really structured, but do you have a to-do list? And what do you think about the concept of eating the frog? Meaning, if mopping the floor is the thing you want to do the least, that's the first thing you do on your task. So I'll start with you, Dr. Law.
Yeah, no, I don't approach it like that. If you're going to be serious about success, you can't afford to have the opinion of whether you like to do something or not. It has to be done, so liking something is kind of a luxury that I try not to permit myself when it's a task. I really try to prioritize the work that needs to be done. I do have I use my phone and get my to-do list and check off stuff and add things and whatever. So we're constantly updating it or whatever. But yeah, I think that if you're eating the frog every time, you kind of get sick and tired of doing that. And you want your accomplishments you want to be able to enjoy your accomplishments and celebrating that kind of thing. So every once in a while, it may come out like that, where you have to tackle where the highest priority to do is something that's unpleasant. But man, why torture yourself? Life is long, and why spend it doing stuff that you don't like? I believe that you prioritize your task and then just check it off, one bit at a time. My dad had a saying, I'm sure he'd heard somewhere, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Mm-hmm. All right. Cannon, you got anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think what he just said is spot on. I do believe that you have to prioritize. I do think you have to identify what's important and what's not. But I don't think that you should ever engage in procrastination. Some wise men that I call friends and brothers, they told me a long time ago that excuses are tools of incompetence, and they build monuments of nothingness. And those who specialize in them seldom amount to anything else. And I find myself sort of living by that credo. You have to prioritize in business, and you have to recognize what's important, and you cannot procrastinate. And then you have to avoid excuses. You do that, and I think that's a pretty good equation for success.
Yeah, we say our motto here is, I am greater than my excuse. I am greater than my excuse. And so well said. And so we're going to do one more. KB hit me. He said his internet went out. And then we're going to do a brief break so we can stretch our legs, and then we can come back and wrap this up. But this is truly great stuff, and I appreciate you guys, doing this. I know you all got, families and businesses you're running, but this is great information for our communities. And, if we can build up one or two people black people, then that's even great. So, all right. How about, I'll start with you, Cannon. How important is it knowing where your money is being allocated, budgeting, so to speak? Is that important to you, or you know, or
So
you just do it fly by pants?
It is extremely important that you know where your money is, where it's going, how it's being used, and how it's growing. I will tell you that there are a whole lot of things that will derail those efforts to know where your money is and what you're doing with your money and how it's being used and where it's going and how it's growing. I think there's a whole lot of people that I bet you Doc has this issue all the time, that people think he has more than he has, that count his pockets.
Oh, man.
And plenty of folks that are willing to knock on your door and ask you for that favor that they know they'll never return. You have to be conscientious of what you have, what you don't have.
Hold on, Cannon. I hate to cut you off, but let me say this.
Yeah.
Whether you got it or not, you're going to have people knocking on your door with that spiel.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah. But there's another good friend of mine, Larry Rogers Jr., and he told me once, he said, a lot of us have a dilemma that a lot of our counterparts who don't look like us don't have. And that is, my partner, for example, is probably the 5th or 6th person in his lineage that people in his family will go to when they need a loan or some money. Where, Mills, you'll be number one. Doc, you'll be number one. I'll get that first phone call, right? Because we're not, we don't have 10 people like us, Wordsmith. We don't have 10 people like that in our family. We only have 2 or 1. And so there's a weight that comes with that. There's also a responsibility, and the balancing of those things is very difficult. But I think, for me anyway,
Cannon changed ever since he got all that money. He won't just give me money no more. I called him and asked him for some money.
I used to be like, man, Cannon, I need some money. Now
Man,
I need a hammer.
Hey, but I was prepared for that when y'all
I feel like my
became
money
noobs,
is like sand in my hands. It just the sand grains just go right straight through.
Yeah. It's not the money that changes you. It's not having the money that changes you.
Now the hammer, he didn't change. He get a hammer now. He Cannon.
Hey, when you became brothers, it was the same thing. They would say you changed.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Like,
You
I'm not
changed.
changing. That's y'all changing around me.
Right.
All right. Dr. Law, so how about you? Do you budget, per se? Are you concerned with how your money is being allocated?
Absolutely. I try not to spend any of the money my wife lets me keep. So, yeah, I try not to spend any of that. I'm gonna hold on to that.
And then I try not to let her spend that. Wait, this is the money you let me keep. Go ahead, bro. My wife's on the flight; she can't hear us.
It's that's another thing. Well, when you have a goal, when you're trying to do something, when you're trying to accomplish something, and Cannon talks about this fear, and man, I know where it fits in my life, that fear and how it keeps my motor running, keeps me motivated, and what have you. And because of that, I try to have a lot of accountability. And of course, my daughter, who you just may have seen come in here and kiss me goodnight, and yeah, it's about her bedtime. She's out of school, but I try to hold her accountable. Yeah, I love you, but this is what I need you to do, because you're growing and you need to be able to do these things. So I can be pretty Machiavellian with financial things, just because I'm like that with myself. I deny myself. I get involved and participate heavily in deferred gratification, as I know you newts do, because that's the only way where you can accomplish goals. You have to put off those things that you want to get the things that you need, and you have to have a return on that investment. So I look at a lot of things as I'm spending money. Is that going to get me the return on the money that I'm spending? And budget wise, I don't have any money. So I'm spending money the 1st and the 15th for employee paychecks, for rent, for supplies, for equipment, for loans, and this kind of thing. So I pay very close attention to the money that goes out, and I never have enough. So yeah, my budget is always shot.
Man, that is very, very good stuff, y'all.
It is.
So, this you guys.
Fear of failing is an illusion.
Yeah.
Fear is an illusion, but we have to have desire. We have to have something that pushes us. Fear pushes us.
Man, I was thinking that Mike Tyson. Oh, I was thinking that so hard. I was gonna say it.
We go to our grave and think, "Wow, this shit's never happened. I was waiting for this shit, never came." You know, it's just it motivates. Listen, you think a deer comes to a lake. He feels the intention is a lion in the tree. So normally he'll jump 50 feet, but with that fear, he jumped 40 feet.
Yeah.
You know, it's the flight of, it's survival. Our fear makes us think things that don't even exist. Our biggest fear never happens.
Ever.
Whatever we're afraid of in life, our biggest fear never happens.
Never.
We go to our grave and think, wow, this shit's never happened. I was waiting for this, it never came. You know, it's just, it motivates. Check this out.
Well, that's just it. You know, that fear will keep you motivated so it doesn't happen.
That's his shit. Was feels
Right.
my friend.
Yeah,
feels my
he's a
friend.
trip. And if you're not scared, you can jump 50 feet. But if you are scared, you jump 40. I'm like, doesn't he realize 50 is bigger than 40? But y'all know that's
we
Mike.
understand what he means.
Hey,
He's punch drunk.
he
out there.
did. I think he was saying that fear would slow you down, even though I think he meant that, even if he didn't, you know. But he was always talking about fear was his friend, and
that's what he's saying.
Every time he went to the ring, he was every time we went to the ring. I was like, fear's my friend. I would come in there. As soon as the bell rings, then there was no fear. I knew I was going to kill him.
Great imitation.
All right, so big ups, TATN. So knowledge, budgeting, is that a tool for you? Are you penny for penny, like you sit down with your budget, or you got different accounts where money's going and you don't touch this and you put that away for a rainy day and that kind of thing?
So I'm not a super strict budgeter, but I went through I'll call it an exercise. So this is it actually really started my journey. You talk about the millionaire, about 2017, living in the West Loop, right? Probably paying about $2,800 a month, right? Luxury apartment, right? So I'm throwing money away. And
he's a realtor.
Something came to me, and I just needed to take inventory, because I was like, I'm bringing in money, but I'm spending money, and let me see where I'm spending my money, right? And of course, specifically in today's age, you're paying $2.99 for an app that you got on your phone that you never open up. You know, you're paying Xfinity or Comp, and I put those numbers down. For me, I love a spreadsheet, right? It's even better than like putting stuff into an app. I like to be able to look at it. And then I kind of took a percentage to say, you know, a percentage of money, what goes out every month, right? I've known for a long time, I must be bringing more in than goes out because I'm still surviving, right? But I want to get really scientific about it. And that really took me through an exercise of truly cost cutting, and it really changed my mindset about where money was going, what I was spending on. It was just a very healthy exercise. And so anybody who's trying to get a handle on that, because most people don't, right? I'll usually ask a person, hey, how much do you spend per month, right? And that's specifically, we really have no idea. You know, a lot of people have no idea what they
We don't want to know. It's a form of denial.
Don't want to know, don't know. Either way, you can't win.
Yeah.
Can't really set a strategy of saving. You can't set a strategy of, well, I want to get an investment property, so I need to put up X $. You have no strategy. You're just living, right? And
Most of us are living like, yeah, well, I still got money in the bank, so I must be doing, making more than I spend.
Well, you're bringing up a point that I'm working towards, but I read about. No, seriously, well, back to reefer. I like to bring this up. So let's just say when you start reprogramming your mind, right? Okay, you might say, okay, that's $20. That's $20 for, well, I'm in LA, so you might say that's $100 for some dank, right? But once you realize that the way you could be investing that money, right, and what that money could be bringing back to you, that dank is costing you more than $100, or if it's a pair, it's a pair of ones. The ones might cost $100. So in your mind, oh, I'm just spending $100, but no, if you put that $100 into, an investment, that $100 could probably bring you back $200 or $300. So you have to start saying to yourself, I'm talking long term, down the road.
But you have to be careful too, right? I mean, your point is well taken, but life is about living too, right? I mean, and if you satisfy some itch and understand it in the grand scheme of things, that there's a bigger picture, then you can accomplish both. You can have that little drop off, but still grow.
No, I agree. But just program your mind that don't think of the dollar you're spending. Multiply that by 3 or 4. Even though you might say, I want a steak dinner tonight. Take my girl out for steak, and it's only $200. Say to yourself, really, because those are my little soldiers, that's $500 or $600.
Well,
I'm not saying don't do it.
I think that there's a cost benefit kind of analysis that we all have to go to. And, we work to live. Ultimately, we're not living to work, to Cannon's point. So I think we ought to be able to enjoy some things, but in moderation. I think that is, again, just a huge part of being a grown ass man, being able to say, this I can do, and the rest, I'm just going to put off. I'm not going to do that. You have to have some limitation, some discipline. Absolutely. So, when we, for instance, the difference between Cannon reading all the time as an attorney, rarely would his reading be leisurely. What do you want to do when he's at home? Hey, what do you want to read some more?
I'm going to check this out. This book out here, I literally
must read hundreds of pages a day. He literally must read hundreds of pages a day. So, as opposed to me, when I'm working in the clinic, I'm nowhere near books, so to speak. So reading or even listening to a narrative, business-wise or whatever, has a different kind of effect. You have to be, when you're talking about budgeting, when you're talking about compounding, when you're talking about meditating, you have to be able to put these blocks into your life at whatever way works for you personally.
That's right.
And ultimately, you have to build a machine that's working. And that's what's important, because none of us do it the same way. There are some principles that we share, but we all have our own little individual thing that we've honed over the years. We know this works for us, it doesn't, and this doesn't. And so that's kind of, when you're talking about budgeting, it's the same thing. This kind of discipline, use of money, return on investment works for me, but it's different from somebody else's way.
Yeah, I agree. I think in my response, I was just saying that getting it down on paper in front of you is powerful. right? I don't know how many people actually put it down, get it in front of you, because you can't really set any strategy, right? Maybe you think, you know what, I need to go to, I got money, I'm going to carve out something to go get a massage, right? Which is I have money to do it because I'm seeing this. Or you know what, for me, one of the things that popped up and was, I'm like, damn, this is a lot of my budget, Uber Eats. So I just told you,
money, man, food will take up, food will take up some money, bro.
And getting some delivery of some groceries, because your Uber Eats is off the chain. But I didn't know, I was just eating every day. I didn't look at how much money was going to Uber Eats every single month. And so seeing it made it click in my head, like, this doesn't make sense.
Right.
To your point, KB,
it's like we're too expensive.
I say to your point, what I do is I go through my monthly statement and I do my I do my tax designation. So I'll go through and I'll see, okay, this is how much I spent on gas, on meals, on entertainment, on supplies.
You haven't
on
spent anything on me.
Yeah, you know, right.
He said on meals. The meals.
So it's but it's that constant reminder of, oh yeah. And I mean, I look at, you know, for a typical month, you know, my statement will have 3-4 pages of charges. And I'll go through every one to, you know, from even if it's getting a stick of gum from Target. Oh yeah, okay, I did spend that whatever on Target, to, you know, something significant. But I'm aware of it and constantly aware of it. And I think that's what you're saying. And that's important. Absolutely. You have to know. Nothing's wrong with spending money. You just have to know what you're spending it on.
Right. That's right.
Correct.
Intentionally. Be intentional with your spending.
Yeah, and Cannon, to your point, trust me, I've lived life, so I know where you're coming from. You know what I mean? And remember, we're speaking to like just like, it's a lot of people who just really don't have nothing, and they don't have any, you know, they don't know these, nobody's ever talked to them with these disciplines and things like this. And so I heard Jay-Z say he would reward himself with certain things after, and you kind of went into it, Dr. Law, after, so maybe after I open this dental office, I'll go out and buy myself a new whip. You know what I mean? Or after I, you know, accomplish, you know, this sales goal, I'll go ahead and take that trip, you know, to Hawaii, as opposed to going to Hawaii first and then saying, then I'm going to accomplish a sales goal, which probably would never happen, you know, that kind of thing. So, but you guys, we need to stretch our legs right quick. We're gonna do a halftime, and I only got 5 questions left in the second half, so it'll be much shorter. But we're looking good on time. Appreciate you guys. So we should be done within like 45 minutes max. So appreciate y'all. So set your timers for like 6 minutes, and we'll see y'all in 6 minutes.
Yo.
All right, Self Love, it's time for you to take us to halftime here. Calling Self Love, take us to halftime. Calling Self Love, take us to halftime. Somebody put a bolo out on Self Love here. Take us to halftime. It's halftime. All right, y'all. So we got second half coming up here. Got some more great questions on the money mindset from these gentlemen. Right now we have Dr. Law in the building. He's an entrepreneur. He's also majored in business administration, but he's practicing not only dentistry, but he's practicing what he preaches as far as growing his business. So we're excited about him being here today. I tagged his link into the chat. Comfort Dental Studios. And then also we have Cannon Lambert, Sr., attorney at law. He's a partner at Karshner and Lambert. You can see that link in the chat. I'll drop it in there again.
And then we have real estate, investor, entrepreneur, Knowledge Beckham of the Dropping Knowledge podcast in the building. And so you guys support his podcast. What happened to you, fella? What happened to you, fella? We've been trying to go to halftime here.
Yeah, you know.
And took a poop in the middle of the damn show?
I had to go, relieve myself out there, and it was not that part of relief, but yeah.
All right. Well, all right. Well, yeah. Take us to halftime.
It's halftime. Love y'all. Sorry, I couldn't make it to halftime. But it's halftime. It's the Self Luv Show, where we are unpacking, acquiring wealth, how to accumulate wealth 101. And today we're dealing with reprogramming your mind. We're dealing with the mind state. We broke down quite a bit. And man, we are moving forward and going to break down even more. And we'll be right on back. We have some great videos for you. See you soon.
I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us. We might not be the ones, but let's not be selfish, and because we're not going to change the world, let's not talk about how we should change.
24 years ago today, iconic rapper Tupac Shakur was shot here in Las Vegas.
The rapper was shot inside of a BMW while stopped at a red light on Koval and Flamingo. We all know the story. He then died 6 days later. The shooting happened after a Mike Tyson fight against Bruce Sheldon at MGM Grand. And then there was a brawl inside of the lobby right after that fight. Tupac was in the car with Marion Suge Knight, who was grazed by a bullet. No one has ever been arrested for Tupac's murder.
What's the point of life? Lord, why do we do it? And what's the point of strife? Pimps and whores see right through it. They see fluid. All Johns ain't saints, and St. John knew it. Tricks are preachers, 12 disciples, and so-called druids. See, solid. Get married and have shorties after college. So what's the point? Vibrate love, go share knowledge. Silence is violence. Stupid is as stupid does. Join the Give Back Gang Alliance. Gang, gang. So here's our magic box question. Imagine Self Love gave you a magic box, and it's beautiful, ornate box. It has a singular button contained on the top of it. Now, God forbid that the person or persons whom you would have the most difficulty living without contracted a rare and terminal illness that was painful, and they were suffering dearly from it. And according to all the doctors, death was imminent. What if self-love informed you that if you simply press the button, this person or persons would be 100% cured and out of pain? But there's a genie in the bottle. But at the same time, a person whom you do not know, you've never met and will not meet, would then suffer the same fate as your loved ones or loved one. Do you press the button?
Damn, that's good. That's a tough one. Sorry. Yeah, I do.
All right. I mean, at least you're honest. All right, here we go. This one's not yes nor pass. What's the meaning of life?
I think the meaning of life to me is you only get one, and I think we all have a expiration date, right? And we don't know when that date is. It can be tomorrow, it could be next week, it could be the next second. So I think making sure that you're making yourself happy and prioritizing your own mental health, your own well-being over pleasing others. If you live a happy life, I think you live a righteous one, no matter how long or how short it can be or will be.
All right, that was part of the Sermon on the Mount. Joshua said, enjoy life when he was talking to the people. Enjoy life. Okay, so now, is there anything that...
Hey, bros, what's going on? This is Cotton. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because subscribing makes you feel good.
Do you still have them?
I got mine.
Have you ever...
You clipped there, so I don't know what you said. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Welcome back to the Self Luv Show, where we are unpacking how to accumulate wealth 101, reprogramming your mindset. With our financially secure panel, bro, we have an all-star panel. Dr. Lawrence A. White.
Facts.
Attorney Cannon Lambert Sr.
Facts.
And Knowledge Beckham, Knowledge Be Born. Movers and shakers.
Man, I almost fell out my chair when you started doing that shimmy. It was the shimmy you was doing over there?
What the?
Was you shimmying, Noop?
Hey, I almost spit on the camera. Shimmy. Do I look like I shimmy?
Oh, man.
Anyone that has this shimmies, point in my direction, because they might get the Chris Rock, Will Smith.
Oh, man. The shimmy. Oh.
Hey, Brother Newman had me shimmying at the pop-up. I don't know what he did with the footage, but that footage was, we was having a good time.
I went out there. Brother Newman, in the chat, he said, when you're always prepared for an opportunity, your luck is already made.
Yeah.
Big ups, Brother Newman.
But I will tell you this. I don't know who told you I was financially secure. I'm insecure about all this, man. As insecure as I can be.
Hey,
Period.
hey, just because you're neurotic don't mean you ain't doing good, bro. All right, and let's
Man, hey, hold on.
Go ahead, bro.
If you are insecure financially, then I am desolate.
Desolate.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm indigent.
You know what? It's not. You know what? Real talk though. When you have more financial responsibilities, you have more financial responsibilities.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what Biggie said. More money,
Yeah,
more
more
problems.
problems.
Yeah. Puffy called me, told me to come to LA. I was just going back to Cali. All right, here we go. All right, rest up, Biggie. Let's push on, y'all. Okay. So we talked about budgeting. So I think it's on Cannon. See if Cannon's back. Did we ask him to start and unmute?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we'll wait till he comes back. So we'll start with next in the rotation would be Brother Beckham. So pay yourself first strategy. Do you employ pay yourself first, Brother Beckham, from any chips you get off any jobs or anything?
It depends on what stream the actual income has come from. So there's some things that I do, newer businesses that essentially I don't necessarily need to pay myself, right? And so I just want the money to go back into the business. Mm-hmm. And so I'm not taking anything out. Again, a little bit of a unique situation because I do still hold a 9-to-5 currently. And so for me, that's what I live off of, right? And so every dollar made through other businesses, et cetera, is going to build those businesses, to build the sufficiency of those businesses so I can go out and get lines of credit, business credit, those sorts of things. And so I'm not taking anything out of those businesses today for me.
Well, technically, I would consider that paying. If you're putting it all back into your business, yeah, I would say that's paying yourself as opposed to just paying all the bills or what have you. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But before you got to this point, did you use that as a tool? Like, were you taking money out of every check and saying, hey, I'm going to put this away for when I launch my company or whatever, or buy my first property?
I did not. I did not. I've heard pay yourself, and a lot of people advise pay yourself. I just did not. Oftentimes, I'm so much into earn mode, and I'm trying to earn, and again, it's probably the curse of growing up in sales, right? And so while I want to look at expenses and fine tune those, I am very much focused on making more. Okay. Right, making more. How do I grow my business?
Right.
There's another school of thought of how do we, tighten up expenses and lower expenses, right, to increase the overall. Sell more, right? Sell more, drive more, and that's in line with my overall philosophy. Is I want to live a better life, and to live a better life, we need to increase that gap. I don't necessarily, to Cannon's point earlier, lowering expenses may mean taking certain things out of my life that I don't want to take out of my life, right? Because I enjoy doing them. And so I need to grow the other side of the balance sheet, and I need to make more income. And so for me, it ends up that I'm looking to earn more and obviously very much outpace the expense side of that balance sheet.
Right.
Well said. Well said. And so, Cannon, I'm going to throw it to you and then Dr. Law. So the question is the pay yourself first strategy. So say you get some money out of a case you've been working on. Do you take a certain percentage out of it and say, hey, this is going into my personal bank account or what have you, or straight into investments? Or do you address all of your expenses and other things first?
So, when I proposed to my wife, I had a ring that I gave her. And before I got that ring, I had to save some money. And I remember being very diligent about setting aside enough money so that I could buy that ring. And I remember how concerned I was about being able to successfully do that. And I used that really as a basis for how I approach my own life going forward. If I can do that for her, why shouldn't I do it for me? I definitely agree with Brother Beckham about trying to outpace what your expenses are, but I definitely think that when you set your goals and then you set aside for the accomplishment of those goals, achievement, right? I don't know how not to save something for myself, pay myself first, even though I may not necessarily be paying myself. I got 2 kids I got to go send to school. So out of everything I get, I always try to do a little something about taking care of that responsibility. I know that a rainy day is around the corner all of the time, and I'm not always going to be prepared for it. So I got to try and be prepared for it. So I bet Brother Beckham does those same things, right? I mean, it's just, what do we call paying ourselves before we pay, other folks? You can't be successful without preparing for the future. And you have to, in order to prepare for the future, gauge what that future looks like. And so there's never enough as long as you're striving, and so it's just one of those things where you have to try and continue to get there. It's the journey, it's not the destination. And I think that's just the way I approach it.
Well said. And Dr. Law, I'm gonna toss it to you. That what you guys were saying, yeah, I do hear about that. Increase the income, get your side hustles on or whatever it is to increase more income at the same time. But even out of all of that, you don't want to just be spinning your wheels. You got to be doing that for a point, so that you can get into the game, the investment game. All right, Dr. Law, you pay yourself first. Some leaders pay themselves last. I mean,
Yeah. That I've tried that route and failed at it. So no, I don't pay myself last. No, that will leave you pissed off and poor. Yeah. No, but I'll tell you this.
Who's that guy? He's the janitor, I think.
Well, he paid himself last. No, I pay myself first by putting a certain amount in 401k. That's automatically deducted. I think you have to prepare for longevity. There was, remember Mickey Mantle died of liver cirrhosis. He said, if I knew I was going to live this long, I'd have treated myself better. And we have to be prepared to live long and live as well as we can in that regard. I also am like KB in that money that I invest in my business is benefiting me. So it's that cost benefit kind of ratio and return on investment. I'm going to invest this income in me. And that's what's allowed me to grow. I mean, I've been amazed. My business has grown at least 60% each of the last 3 years. That's crazy. That's crazy. So, and the way that I continue to do that is by continuing to invest in that, which I'm still poor, but I've been paying myself, investing in this business. So yeah, I do.
Hold on here.
I'm sorry.
You're poor? Oh God!
He's so used to telling his teen daughter that he's just, he's just
he's so used to telling himself that.
No, I'm broke. I'm broke. Okay,
right.
I'm broke. I'm not poor. I'm broke.
Yeah, well, you got net worth though. If you put it all into your
yeah, but it's man, it is so real. You have to believe in yourself.
Yes,
man, this money that I'm spending in this business it's not a pipe dream. It's not something, that I'm wagering on. This money has got to work. This money got to work. You talk about soldiers, that money's got to be, little soldiers every day going to work.
Facts.
So that's why I say it's not
last 3 years.
That's not my
exponential growth.
Pardon me?
Say last 3 years, exponential growth.
He's still debating that you're saying you're poor. We moved past that. Self.
No, I'm not debating. I'm really enhancing the mindset. I want the viewers to understand the mindset that he still has this mindset that this is what's going to go, and I'm just trying to,
you have to feed, man. Cannon and KB, they know when you hit it and it's making money, you got to keep feeding it. You got to keep feeding it because you don't know when it's going to stop. The fear. My fear is that just as quickly as this practice, it's a company now, is that this company is growing, that it could stop. So I have to be, my head's on a swivel saying, how can I keep this growing every day? And I got to feed it. I got to feed it. So,
mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said return on investment. I could think of maybe I'll name a pet that, but that's a unisex name for a child. Roy, R-O-I, huh? Boy, you be planting a seed in your son or daughter's mind from the beginning. You know why I named you Roy, boy? Return on investment. You better not waste my money when I send you down to college. All right, here we go.
All right now.
All right. Great answer, gentlemen. Great answer. All right, so how much entertainment-based TV or web surfing or things of this nature are you guys able to get in on a daily basis? And we'll start with Dr. Law.
I would say probably an hour or so, probably during dinner. It's going to be around that dinner time when I'm catching up with wife, kids, that kind of stuff.
Listen to this, all you lower middle class people who are struggling, got to watch your shows. Go ahead.
Yeah, I tease my wife because she likes to watch these train wrecks. She'll watch all the housewives kind of stuff. She might not watch that particular show, but she'll watch stuff like that.
Yeah.
She was watching the Marriage Ultimatum thing. I'm like, what? The Married at First Sight, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, my wife be cussing at the TV. I'll be like, what's going on back there? You know what I mean? But I used to be the same way.
You get the cliff notes.
I was the same way when I watch sports, man. But
I'll pop in. So who's doing what now, sweetie?
Right.
But I don't, like I said, man, I really enjoy historical kinds of things, drama, documentaries, not necessarily dramas or that kind of thing, but historically based dramas, I'll watch those. But I don't know. I really try to focus on being intentional about my viewing and being intentional about things that are going to like grow inside me. Think, you know, I want to put something that I can use. That's what I'm interested in.
He can't focus on one of those mindless TV shows, and he's sitting there like, my business is gonna come apart.
You know,
Self. My business is coming apart.
For instance, like
I'm watching this,
I watch
the paint is cracking.
Somebody's got to mop that. Somebody's got to mop that damn floor.
God damn it. And she's yelling at her about nothing.
Let me go mop the floor. You know what I mean? All right.
No,
but
you know,
I hope y'all hearing this. Go ahead, Dr. Law.
There's a show on one of these channels, The Men That Built America.
Yes,
you know,
History Channel.
Or
His
Food That Built
Story.
America. Or, you know, something like that. Man, I'm telling you, I find inspiration and ideas just all over the place. And you have nothing to do with dentistry, have nothing to do with business even. But
man,
it's, you know, I just try to really be inspired by successful individuals, or, you know, whatever kind of success, either financially, artistically, whatever. So, yeah.
All right. So we got Dr. Law he said about 1 hour, and it's normally educational or inspirational based. Cannon, for the listeners out there who probably, you know, are watching the game, if the game is on or something like that.
That's right. The game is on, man. Let me see.
The
old
me would probably over by now.
The old me would have been watching it and cussing at the TV the whole time, like I'm playing while they making millions of dollars. But Cannon, can you how much TV can you quantify it? You know, I know you got kids, you probably watch it with them, but how much?
So you know, it's funny when you're rattling off those names, Doc. You know, it's funny, we all know them. That means we're all somewhat familiar with them. That means we all do a little bit of watching, right? But I would say this. I do find a way to defrag. You defrag your computer. You got to defrag your mind.
It's meditation. But go ahead.
I watch that mindless stupidity stuff because it makes it so that I can kind of recharge. I don't have to pay attention. I don't have to know I don't know the individual names of the people that are on the screen. They're just the idiot that said X or the dumbbell that said Y, and the one that made me laugh about Z, you know, and I'll watch a little of that.
You're talking Family Guy, South Park.
I mean, just what it comes in a variety of flavors.
He don't
right?
care. It's whatever on the screen. He like
whatever it is, you know. I mean,
baby, put some nonsense on the TV. I want to defrag. Put some nonsense.
You know, it's true. I walked in. You know, you walk into the room and you got your wife and your daughter watching something. And you know, you stick your nose in it, and for 5 seconds you pull out, whatever. You know?
That's what she said.
You know, I mean, but at the end of the, I mean, the core, it seems to me at the core of your question is really, what do you do to kind of unwind a little bit, and to the degree that you.
Well, I want to know how much time financially fiscal people are spending watching mindless TV per week.
Well, I'll tell you this. I don't know that I do it per week, but I will tell you this. I had a judge tell me this when I was early on in the career. June 12th makes 20 years. Me and my partner at the office have been together in corporation together. I'm real kind of proud of that, you know. And I'll tell you one of the things we've been blessed.
And
but
two lawyers not suing each other by now. That's
amen.
Amazing.
Amen.
I'm going to sue you just because I'm a lawyer.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you, one of the reasons I think the reason it's been successful is this judge told me early on, Willie Wright, brother that really looked out for me out of the gate for no reason other than the fact that he just saw somebody that he wanted to look out for, the blessings I got. He told me, you better make sure no matter what you do, you take a vacation. And if you know me, you know that in the summer, religiously, for 2-3 weeks, I'm gone. And when I say I'm gone, I'm gone. You ain't gonna call me on the phone. The office knows to talk to my partner and handle the business there. And that's when I recharge the battery. I may not do it every day. I mean, I watch TV every day, but I do designate a window in my life every year to make sure that I can literally unplug. That to me is a huge, huge benefit that helps me kind of get through the, I get back to the, United States, and I find myself moving a little slower at first because I did truly unwind. It helps me stay healthy. I'm gonna live longer because of it. And my mind is clear.
Well, that's the Jay-Z method. But you see that sluggery, that sluggish you came back with, you're like, oh, I got to get back into it. Some people are living that every single day, and they're not even aware of it.
Yeah, that's the trees they be on, huh?
Most of it.
And the nonsense. Man.
Hey, you know better, you do better. Like, to achieve a mind state is a blessing, but to live in, ignorance is what a lot of us do. Most people live in ignorance. They don't live in this mind state that we're bringing to them, and it's very important,
Facts.
Well, that's here in the United States, man, because you can get real comfortable. You can get real comfortable in the U.S.
easily.
That's everywhere.
Easily. Knowledge. What about you?
Yeah, but I don't know if it's everywhere. Listen, poverty in the United States is not poverty in the world. Poverty in the United States is bad. I'm not going to say I want to be it. I want to experience it, but I got a brick house they call a ghetto. You got
electricity and running water.
I got WIC and all of that other stuff.
It's all subjective, though.
But some things aren't subjective. When you got a 4-year-old
walking 2 miles to get water in the morning, that's not subjective.
That's not subjective. When you got a
but when you're walking those 2 miles to get that water, you're not walking past a Rolls Royce.
Dirty water, dirty rainwater. That's what they're doing. At 11 o'clock at night, they're walking up down the street by themselves. That's a whole different animal. That's a whole different world.
Well, there's a different world than. Well, no, it's not a debate show, but there's a whole different world here that we're not subjective to. That subjective to third world conditions, and I just want
Well, all I say is it's perspective, because, like, subjective, to your point, Cannon, you're not walking 4 miles to get the water, but you're not living in Flint, Michigan. I mean, what I'm saying, big ups to Flint, Michigan. What I'm saying is you don't have to, like, America. You can actually see so much success, so much wealth, and comparatively, when you got the Elon Musk's and these people running around with all this bread, even if you're bringing in 100 stacks a year, you're an ant. You're like a roach, and if you're bringing in 20 stacks a year, you're an amoeba. So
there are people that bring in 100 stacks that are living check to check. So
30% of them.
That's absolute fact. That So it's all subjective.
But I know your point. At least you're not living in a tin, hut with no electricity and no internet. All right.
They say the man that no shoes, he complains until he meets the man with no feet.
Right. Correct. Correct.
Facts.
Well said.
Facts.
All right, Knowledge. Let me throw it to you. How much per day do you spend, on mindless TV or internet or radio?
Probably none, brother.
Probably. Yeah, I was gonna say zero. Yeah.
Entertainment wise, the kind of Candace's point, it's basketball. The basketball season. Basketball season is wrapping right now. It's nothing. Like, I can't, if you know anything about me and my makeup, the mindless TV shows are just it hurts our community so much. They don't realize it, right? So I do spend time on social media, but I'm oftentimes using social media to leverage it for business, to tell my story, to build my brand, etc. Right? So every post that I have, every post that I make has a purpose, right? I posted yesterday that I won the MVP award, sales award at my company. I posted that because most people, and honestly, I don't really give a shit about the award, right? At the end of the day, I'm plugged into somebody's system and I try to work well within that system. I'm a system player, right? At the end of the day, doing the real estate, being an investor, that's what I'm more proud of, because that's me building something, right? Building something from the ground up. But I posted it because I wanted other people to see. A lot of times when I talk to people about real estate investing, they talk about their job or something they have kind of to say, I'm good. And so I just wanted to show like, no, I'm actually better than you are at the job, but I still make time to do this other thing, because it's not about me just living a certain type of lifestyle. I got grandkids. When they turn 21, if I don't have 50K each or 100K each so they can go buy a home, then I'm not there. I haven't arrived, right? And so there's work that we all have to do. And so when we get caught up, I feel like us specifically as Black folks, they can just throw so much misdirection at us, and we seem to catch it all, right? The new thing, I don't even know what the story is, right? Michael B. Jordan, and I guess we was dating. I don't even know but it's all over social media, right? It's owning us. It's owning our mind, right? Mm-hmm. Something happens on a TV show, Will Smith, Chris Rock, it owns our minds for days. And it's almost like all they have to do is sit back and just put some shows out for us and be like, all right, well, let's pass a few more laws while they're wrapped up into the mindless TV. And so anytime that I see it coming on or across, I really stay away from it, because I'm like, they didn't try to put good programming out. They're putting this out to misdirect us more, right? If I hear some, to my hip hop brothers, if I hear some bad hip hop, this isn't because this is a great artist. This is to add more detriment to our culture at the end of the day. So it's hard for me to plug into any of those things, because I'm always thinking there's a bigger picture, and we seem to eat so much of it up that keeps us kind of off course. So if nothing, right, wrong, whether you agree with it or not, that's why I can't even dive into it, because I feel like it's almost playing into it's being a part of the matrix. As much as I can, I want to be aware of, and I try to pull it back.
I definitely feel that. I definitely feel that same way. The less external inputs I get, the more successful I am. I mean, just historically. So I'm very happy never to get involved with social media, because I'm focusing on my business. And when I'm focusing on that, it's enjoyable. I see the results. I'm having an effect on my life. So I absolutely see that with
interesting.
Absolutely
interesting. To both points, Dr. Law, you need to hire somebody to do your social media, so you don't have to worry about that. And we are.
Yeah, that's actually a step that I'm taking. Yeah. Again, no being able to work on the business and not in it. But that's, this little setup I have here. I purchased some video stuff so I can do some videos for the website. I got a little camera here and got the light set up and all this kind of stuff. Man, this ain't, this is not my laptop that's doing this. I had to be intentional about it. But that's because I'm going to shoot some content for my website. But again, I don't need to be
offline about that.
Facebook doing
that. And knowledge, DL Hughley and what's her name?
Monique.
Precious. Yeah, I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? I'm like,
who cares?
It's always something else. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about now. explain it.
He's just okay. Well, he's saying that. I know that's not what you're asking, but you're basically saying that TV has been weaponized against us. I watched a documentary about that. It was in the late '60s, and it happened to be the people from Chicago talking about it. It was older men and women saying, man, this TV has really messed us up, and people weren't going to work. They was just staring at it and living a fantasy. But
it was a very interesting choice of words, and you said programming, and programming has been a large stature, and it has been involved with our government and what they've been doing to achieve a goal of
facts.
of taking us down from our sovereignty and who we are as living beings, because our whole setup has been
And let's just face it, the more time you spend watching the programming, whatever it is, the less time you're building your empire, the less time you're working on your own issues and you know, things going on in your household.
Whole purpose of
and
programming.
running your business. Correct.
Right.
It's just a tool of distraction.
Distraction.
But Monique and DL, she was mad that she wasn't the headliner or some nonsense at a concert, and so she came right out and was cussing them out and on the stage basically. But I didn't even look into it more than that. I honestly, it just kept popping up on the internet, you know. So, but okay, let me jump to the next question, guys.
Yeah, because that's nonsense. Who cares about that?
Okay, so you guys, I'm gonna start off with knowledge because I know you worked in this field. What do you recommend as the strategy, the best method to pay off bad debt? And when I say bad debt, you know, like credit card debt or the interest-bearing accounts that aren't investments, that aren't bringing you money back.
So there's a number of different strategies that are out there, right? Snowball, you know, snowball effect, et cetera. But kind of again goes back to, and it's really important because, you know, a lot of times with debt and money, et cetera, we don't have a great handle on it. You know, and again, if you don't have a great handle on it, it's hard to really put any strategy in place. And so first and foremost, right, if you ask folks, hey, you know, how many credit cards do you have? Oh, I got like 6, right? What are your interest rates on those cards? What are your annual, you know, what's the annual rates on those cards? Most people don't even know, so it's hard to even set a strategy, right? So information and pulling in information and getting data is super important. And then you can start to understand which cards are costing me the most, et cetera, right? What most people miss, funny enough, about paying off debt is oftentimes, which is the beauty about the network marketing business, is that most people actually, even if you set a plan to pay off that debt, there's a reason in many cases why you got so much into debt. You really need to, in my opinion, find a way to generate some additional income to actually be able to address that debt and address that debt quicker. But obviously, just common sense wise, you want to see where you know, what debt is costing you the most. And you want to start to attack that. You know, one of the things that you guys know him, but I won't share his name, but he called me before, had some debt, but had pretty decent credit, right? Now, obviously, utilization rate was driving his credit score down, but he still had a good enough credit score. I said, what I want you to do is take a look online, see where you can find, you know, 0% interest for 12 months, 18 months, apply for that card, right? Apply for, so look at that, get an additional credit card, whatever that credit card is, do a balance transfer, move that debt so it stops costing you on a monthly basis, move that debt to that 0% interest card, still bang it out, right? So move as much as you can. What you can't move over there, then address that debt on the card that is still grabbing interest, knock that down, and then go back to that. But you can take a portion of that debt and now it's not costing you anything, right, on a monthly basis. And so so for me, it's always, and I'll leave you with this and I'll pass to the other brothers. So there's a guy out there, Jay Morrison, right? So as I kind of re-entered the real estate space, and I would, Dr. Lawson, you were taking down some folks, and it's real estate, but brother has a good story. So Jay Morrison, JayMorrisson. I like the brother a lot, you know, had his brush ups with the law, did some time, but he's heavy in real estate, sharp brother, but he has a quote that I use often when I talk to people, and he says, Black people, you know, we don't have a money problem, we have a strategy problem. And that's a heavy quote, because everything that I approach, a lot of times we're just applying the wrong strategy. We don't have one, or we don't know the strategy.
No, we can't even say strategy half the time. We say strategy. I was just telling somebody that the other day.
Indeed.
Strategy.
I mean, we as a group of people, melanated people,
Yep.
spend on a yearly basis. We're top 5. We're top 5 of nations. We our spending, we're top 5. Like,
yeah,
we just spend.
We spend, and we're top 5.
Yeah, spending.
And,
top
and
5.
where are we? We top 5?
Top 5 of spending.
We're top 5, huh?
of spending.
Right.
Not of spending.
Right.
Of
Right.
spending.
Right. We got
Of spending.
We're top 5 guys. Spending.
So with that, Mills, I say it's a I don't have a one size fits all. Understand what your scenario is, what your specific scenario is, and then set a strategy to it. And that strategy will vary depending upon what your situation
is.
Yeah.
All right. But no, you gave some gems on that, man. I actually personally ascribe to the avalanche method. And that's the one where you pay the smaller ones first. But I love the gem about, finding a low interest bearing, whether it's a consolidation loan or a much lower interest credit card, dumping it on there, hopefully zero, and then addressing the ones that's bleeding you with the interest. And then once you pay those off, say, now you can use that money, the interest, towards paying off the other account.
That's right.
So that's a nice strategy. Anybody want to add to, because you guys have probably never been in bad debt, you two guys, but anybody want to add to this?
Ken, you going to say something?
So I'll say this. I remember coming out of school and being in debt, just like everybody else probably, I think the best thing that one can do is to identify good debt and bad debt, if you will.
Right.
When I got out of school, I had to rent an apartment for a short period of time. That's bad debt, because the rent that I was paying was effectively equivalent to a mortgage that I could have been paying. I just didn't have the downstroke to get that mortgage. But I was benefited by the fact that my dad helped me in that way so that I could go ahead and get out of that bad debt and get into good debt that transferred into the office that I'm in. Like, you can make good decisions and bad decisions, and they have massive consequences. When my partner and I decided we were going to buy the space that we're in as opposed to rent the space, what we effectively did is set up a second 201k. Now, every time we pay the mortgage, we're paying ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have debt, but it ultimately grows your ultimate position. Credit cards are killers, period. I don't care what anybody tell you. Credit cards will kill you. Now, if you're going to use a credit card, you need to understand how to do it. Strategy, like what brother was talking about. You've got to have strategy. If you get a credit card and you spend more than 20% of the value of credit available to you, and you don't pay it off every month, you're cutting your own throat.
Yep.
You're cutting your own throat.
Yep.
But if you use those credit cards and you don't use more than 20% of what's available to you and you pay it off every month, then you understand strategically you're growing your credit score. You're improving your credit score.
And the banks hate those people.
And they hate those people.
Yeah.
And if you understand that it's better to pay a minimum payment on time as opposed to pay off the credit card but be late, if you understand that strategically because it improves your credit, then you're winning. If you don't, you're cutting your own throat. If you don't understand, look, credit scores are important in 2 main ways. 1, when you're looking to buy a house, and 2, when you're looking to buy a car. But in most instances, your credit scores don't really reflect, nobody's really tapping into your credit scores on a day-to-day basis. Now, if you look to apply for another credit card, which you should stay out of, then it comes into play. But, those are the strategies that you can employ to try and advance your economic position.
You just reinforced one of
but it also involves a mindset change that you need to have. You need to take pride in not spending. You need to be able to gain that same amount of appreciation for not spending the money as you do for spending. And when you take that on, take pride in the challenge. I'm going to pay this down. I'm going to pay this off.
Correct.
Let me do this as quickly as possible. You know, when you develop that mindset, then that sets you up beyond once the credit card is paid off. Then you're like, all right, now let me be responsible with this credit that I worked hard to get down and what have you. So that's really, really key.
All right. Well said, gentlemen. Well said. All right, Dr. Law, I'm going to start this off with you. The Richest Man in Babylon. I don't know if you guys have read that book. But The Richest Man in Babylon, the author refers to his
amazing book, by the way,
as his little soldiers. You got any, did you read the book? You got any comments on what he may mean by that? Or anyone?
I have not read the book. But I definitely understand having your money work for you. Again, that's money is a tool. Money is a tool, and you have to use it effectively. Yeah, that's so I don't have much to say about that other than like I said, it's a tool. You have to use it well.
Okay.
You know, I learned what it means.
Cannon said it can.
You know, like when you hear people talk about how it takes money to make money. For me, when I used to hear that, 20 years ago, I didn't really understand what that meant. But you don't grow 60% a year without investing your money back into yourself, right? And what it means is that you have to have money to find, patients that you can deliver the service. You can be the best dentist in the world, but if people don't let you be a dentist, you'll starve. So you have to go out and present yourself to them, and you have to find ways to entice them to give you the chance. And you have to give them benefits in the way of delivery of service, and that costs money because you have to have the up-to-date equipment and the state-of-the-art facilities and nice atmosphere with paint that don't chip. You have to have those things. You have to invest in. You have to take your money and invest it in things that are going to help to grow that investment. And really, that's what it comes down to.
And you have to also invest that your personal time that you've invested in people to allow them, because this is my dentist that worked on me 100% of the time, for me to trust him to put other people to, deal with my mouth. And he pulls back and only deals with the situations that he deals. And his patients are, overwhelmingly dealing with trust. And it goes back to his personality as a dentist and what he can bring as a dentist, because this is personally the best dentist that I've ever had in my mouth. And I trusted him.
Check is in the mail, Newt. Check is in the mail.
Yeah.
The check is in the mail.
Hey, they really gonna do this because I trusted him to put a fucking Sigma in my mouth.
Sigma? Wait a minute.
Yeah, I'm confused.
Right? There's a lot of lag.
I'm confused now. I'm confused.
The Sigma. I'm not even gonna go there. All right, so let's do this. Charlie New.
Well, let me tell you this real quick. Let me tell you this real quick.
From your
mouth. I had a little potential legal issue, and I called Cannon, and Cannon was very nice and put me on with his assistant, and the situation didn't jump off, but he handled it so well, and I recognize the way he handled it because that's how I would have handled it. Listen, we got this little thing. We're going to put this appropriate response to it, and he delegated it quite well. The young lady was very professional. It was really, really nice. So, but that's how you have to operate. I know that Cannon is constantly communicating his vision for his business to every employee that works at that business, that they can handle the business when he's on vacation in a manner that is not that's going to be in keeping with consistently how he conducts business, because that's how that kind of situation occurs, when people can pick up the ball from me or from him or from KB and know that this is how you conduct business.
Yeah, well, Brother Newman gave you a compliment. He said he didn't want your associate to work on him, but he said your associate actually had the same delicate touch nearly as you, and he appreciated it. And he gave you a compliment. And he said that means that you trained him with your standards and everything like that. So
It was my whole point.
right, I got you. Bro.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you. I much appreciate it.
I like the way that Mills explained it better than you, though.
I didn't get to finish
Talking about
out.
signals and stuff. I was
Stigma in my mouth. Dr. Law was in my mouth.
Law.
Everybody's in my mouth. And nobody was in my mouth like Dr. Law. And then I let Dr. Law tell me he put a stigma in my mouth and in my mouth.
No. You interrupted.
And me and KB sent all the females away and we started jagging off.
No, you interrupted, and then Dr. Law interrupted.
Okay. All right. Let's move past this because we got 3 more questions and I want to get through this. Here's a serious question. I'll start with KB since he didn't address the last one about, but I thought they did good with the money working for you. So here's what's the point of it all, KB? Cannon actually reinforced one of your points when he said his dad was able to help him, with the down payment for his first property for his home, so he can get off that slave ship. So what's the point of it all? Like your motivation for the grind? Like, why do you do it?
Okay. So I'm inspired. It's probably becoming an overused word now, legacy. But I'm always inspired by those folks that I look at, and I know that from that point on, they're going down in kind of family lore, right? Sean Carter forever. Family will say 300 years from now it was him.
Yeah.
Right. Beyond it was great grandpa Jay and Beyonce, in year 2300 because of what they set up, how they set it up, etc. And so today, when I look at my daughter, I look at my 2 grandkids, I look at my brother's kids, etc. I graduated from U of I in 97. If my grandkids are 8 and 7, so let's extrapolate out 12, 13 more years. So in 2020 or 2035, if they're going to interview like I did in 1997, what have we really done? Right? If they got to go interview, they got to go play the same game. They got to go have the same type of talk and language and interview to be able to make a living and earn a living. I haven't done it right. Right? The goal is by the time that they're ready, there's options for them to come into the family business and start giving their talents, their skill, their blood, sweat, and tears to building the family bank. Right. And so for me, I task myself with being the individual to set that up. Now, if they want to go do something else, that's fine. But I need to have that option in place. So that if they want to, quote unquote, come into the family business, I have enough things set up in place that they can come into the business and the business will probably need them, right? Because in 12 more years, there's going to be new technology, new this, new that I just don't know, right? So it's not like, yes, I may be doing them a favor by having something in place, but they're going to help to grow the business because they're going to have a different mindset about how to go after things, et cetera, based on what's happening 12 years from now that maybe I'm not as in tune with. And so for me, it's about putting something in place, being kind of the foundation of how the family looks 50, 100 years from now. If I do it right, there'll be some things in place to kind of just give us additional options beyond what we've had before, which is go to school, get an education, graduate, get a job. We already know we see too much. We see too many examples that don't really work, especially if our youth. And wanting it to work and expecting it to work at mass just probably doesn't make a lot of sense. We have enough evidence to know that it really doesn't allow us to really live affluent lives in the way that we want to. So that's my thing, is to be kind of the person who sets the foundation for the new way that the family has options of moving forward.
Yeah. Notice he didn't say much about material stuff, more about family. Yeah. And you got something to say, Self?
Yeah, I failed to bring it up earlier when I really thought about it. I mean, do you have any knowledge of universal, the life insurance? You know, you mentioned being your bank.
I do. So
I know you do. So I want you to speak on that, because it's important for our community.
Yeah, so I'll tell you real quick.
Wait. Is this an investment? Because we're gonna save that for 102.
Yeah.
This is all about mindset, and we're wrapping up the show tonight. So, but we're gonna save that for 102. Actual ways to get that money. All right. We really want to stay on focus on the mindset.
Great job.
It's all good, bro. Cannon, why do you do it? What's the point of it all? What's your motivation for your grind?
So,
is it that Ferrari? Is it that Rolls Royce you just bought? I don't want to put his business out
there. Get it right, Bentley, baby. Bentley, baby. Get it right, goddamn it. Get it
B
right.
is for betas.
There you go. No, I want my grandfather to be proud of me, man. I want the folks that sweated out and got their butts kicked and got mistreated way before I was even thought about. I want to do them proud, and I want to make it easy for my babies, easier. And I'm not in love with money. I'm in love with what money will do. It's a tool, as has been mentioned. It's just a medium of exchange, but it speaks to that point that I was making when we first started. I want resources for my kids, so they can do what they want to do, when they want to do it, how they want to do it, and with whom they want to do it. Our responsibility as members of households is to try and broaden the horizons of the people we claim to care about. And if I can say I did that, then I'll make sure that the platform that my kids jump off of, is one that's just a little bit higher than mine. And I hope to be in a position where when they call me grandpa, I can set them off too. So if I can do that, then I'll feel all right. That's what makes me go.
Yeah, man. So Beckham said pretty much what do you call it? His progeny, and you said your elders and ancestors. Dr. Law, what's the point of it all? Well, you did mention your progeny as well, but what's the point of it all? What's your motivation for the grind, Dr. Law? Why do you do what you do?
To give my kids now I had a good launching pad. I stood on my mother and father's shoulders, and countless people who I can't name and probably might not even know certainly did me a good turn and got me to where I am. And so I really measure my success by how much I can do for my children, my wife, my family, and my grandchildren who have yet to be born, and generations to come. A friend of mine told me, like I said, I alluded earlier, my dad was an administrator with the Chicago Public Schools, director of insurance and what have you. And he said, you've outdone your dad. And I was thinking, number one, I would never say that. My dad never looked at his accomplishments as something I should emulate. He was looking for the best way to push me farther ahead. push me higher up. And
so your
I kind of
success is
measure
his
my
success.
by
Man,
can I do as much for my kids that he, you know, as much as he did for me.
Right.
That's my goal. And it's, you
Right.
know, so it's, I would never compare myself to my dad. My
No.
dad, man, I pray that one day I'm the man
No,
that
but
he
your
was.
success is your dad's success.
Yes, that's what his whole goal
Exactly.
was.
Exactly.
He pledged you
Exactly.
before you
And
pledged
so,
new.
you know, it's not, I didn't hear you. My
I said
dad was
that's
an
why
Alpha
he
Row 51.
pledged you
Yo.
He said he pledged you before you
pledged
new.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The newts were lightweight action. He knew my dad. Yeah.
Hey,
So
KB, he say,
so
one of the brothers, call me a liar. Call me a liar.
You're
You're a liar.
sir.
Dr. Law.
You're a liar, sir.
I said, I wish I had the bowels. I wish I had the bowels to pull that one off, man.
I didn't want to offend the brother.
Hey, you were giving an order, you know. But oh man,
you know,
and he was lying.
This.
He was lying.
I will tell you this: the thing that really motivates me, man, is that I put a big dream out there, and I believe that I can get it done. And I mean, it's a big one. It's a big one. And so I enjoy, man, just getting up and getting at it.
The challenge.
Because it's a vision that I never would have imagined. But now that it's in my head and I see the good that I can do, the influence, man, there were people who helped me become a dentist. And once I became a dentist, helped other people become dentists and this type of thing. And I want to do that. And I want to, you know, there's just a lot. I have a huge dream out there, a huge plan. As I've said before, I have a plan to take over dentistry. And, you know, that's something we don't need to go into right now.
We're going to go into it on the 102.
And it's possible.
Yeah,
well, we absolutely can.
Yes.
But that's what motivates me, man. I am goal oriented, and I have a nice big goal that I can look at.
It's not possible. It's not possible. With the people on this show right now, it's probable, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Okay.
Amen, good brother. That's really what motivates me, man. To be able to achieve, man. It's addictive. It's addictive, man. You set a goal out there and then you achieve it. And then the huge goal that you set is already small and overtaken by the reality that you're living in.
Right.
You know, it really does feed on itself. And I find that feeling of accomplishment and then putting the pieces of the dream together. You know, you have a goal that's this big, and then you get one piece accomplished. And so you say, okay, so if the ultimate goal is up here, what's the next step? Okay, how do I get that step? Man, I love this strategy.
Mm-hmm.
I love the strategizing. I love getting the tactics together. I love achieving and building on that and
So
sharing the message.
You're playing the game of life.
I love your
huge
spirit.
Part of success is being able to communicate.
I love your spirit, and it's inspirational. Like everybody on this call, like I know all of y'all, you know, very well, and man, y'all are inspiring figures, and it's a blessing to be associated.
Checks in the mail, Tori.
Appreciate that, brother.
All right, so I got, and Will said, Dr. Law, that was motivational, like Tori said. Yes, that's very motivational. All right, so let's go ahead and I got one last one we can wrap this up with, and I believe we started the last one with KB, so we're gonna start this one with Dr. Law. your most valuable commodity? What do you cherish the most?
Man, that's easy. That's easy. My most valuable commodity, my most valuable asset is my reputation. Period. My reputation.
Facts.
It is what has sustained the challenges of business. My first office was 4 blocks away from my parents' home. And so I became, and my name was on the door.
Right.
And I became acutely aware that if I jacked up anybody from the neighborhood, they knew where I lived. They knew
sully your name in the church, everything.
It wasn't any hiding. Right. It wasn't any hiding, man. And so from very early on, I set about doing things the way that I thought they should be done. And sometimes it cost me money to do that. But that I look at that as an investment.
Facts.
And so without a doubt, by far, easily, man, my reputation. I can lose everything I have today and start over because of my reputation.
Absolute facts.
Facts. All right, well said, bro. Reputation. I've seen that in my studies. I've been studying, rich people, and yeah, reputation is on the list. All right, so I'm gonna go to
not that rich stuff, man.
Brother Lambert. What's your most valuable commodity?
So I would say time, but in reality, when I think about it more, I think the thing that I value the most has to do with quality interpersonal relationships that I have with the folks that I have them with. I will be honest with you. I find myself. I had a conversation with a friend of mine who was exceptionally successful, and he was talking about how he has this overwhelming sense of loneliness.
It says lonely at the top. Go ahead.
Yeah, and there's, while I don't compare myself to where he is, I can understand that feeling, in the sense that the quality relationships that I do have, I don't always get the opportunity to invest in the ways that I would like from a time standpoint. And there is a certain element of struggling to know where you fall and fit with people who you interface with, because not every conversation I have do I want it to be about the law, right? I want to talk about stupid stuff too, but people pigeonhole you in and think of you in certain ways, and not because it's mean-spirited, but instead it's just we applaud Doc and we applaud KB for what they're doing, in real estate, what he's doing in real estate, we applaud that, but that's not the whole of who they are. And I think sometimes for me, just because people have, the way they know me is that I do what I do. There is a loneliness that kind of sort of seeps out of that. So I would say the thing that I value most, I think, would be time, but in particular, time with quality relationships that I don't often get the chance to invest in the way I would want to.
Yeah, I thought Dr. Law was going to say time because he's got so much more on his plate he wants to do. Knowledge, well said, Cannon. So you're saying your interpersonal relationships, but knowledge for you. What's the commodity that you value the most?
That's a great question, Noop. I've been thinking about where did I want to land on this question, and it's tough. It's tough.
So I think the one that I probably value most, because it ends up being me, even if it's not, even if I'm not attempting to do it. And it's really my desire that anybody that's in my space that I'm touching, the desire to do what I can do to help them win. It's hard to explain, but I've seen it as I've managed people. I've seen it as I'm throwing hip hop concerts for old school cats who I felt did what they did, bad contracts, underpaid. So I'm going to give my talents to create a platform for these folks to still get love, put a little money in their pocket. You know, there's something I posted on my page today. My man Lil Real has a new podcast called Keeping It Real, right? He kind of talked about me at the time of right after he had did the Living Color reboot. And, you know, white boy was Jewish boy was after him, right? Had a situation that they could put him in. And I told him at the end of the day, brother, I'm not going to be the thing that stops you. It's going to be hard for me and you to go to every table and eat. Just two black guys from Chicago. We're gonna need to expand the team, right, at the end of the day. And so it was really a selfless act, but it was never really about me getting rich and paid and us running around Hollywood. I just want you to fly, brother. I believe you can, right? Whether it's me mentoring a couple of young ladies who wanted to get in real estate but didn't know which way to go. I knew I had the blueprint to help them. It's wherever I can find myself to help people move forward on whatever it is that they're trying to do. I always find myself being able to assert myself and add that value. And then everything that comes from that, I believe is why I've been one of the most blessed people from God, is because in every element, I'm always trying to push people forward. So it's my most valuable thing that I've been given. So in a way, you can call it kind of like my heart, right? In terms of how I move, etc. It comes back tenfold because I'm doing it genuinely and authentically. But at the end of the day, I know some of the work I do, and Tori and I work in some of the work I do just sends people into different directions, better directions. And it was just because of that engagement they had with me for a month, 2 months, a year, whatever it was during that time. It's just how I'm set up. And so for me, even though it provides for other people, that's my most valuable commodity, because I believe it impacts so many other people positively.
Sounds like altruism.
That's exactly what it sounds like, bro.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay. Self Love, you got anything to add to this as we wrap it up? I'm gonna throw it to them for final comments after you speak.
No doubt. I mean, I know I'm going to repeat myself, but you know, this exposure to our nation is great. It's appropriation for all the work we've put in as brothers. I love y'all. Thank y'all.
Love you too, brother.
Yo.
Y'all get the double yo from me.
All right. We're going to start with our good, and let's get out of here. We're going to start it with Dr. Law. Go ahead with your good, and let's get out of here.
Oh. Okay. Well, iron sharpens iron, so I'm always happy to be in the company of brothers that I can learn and grow from and what have you. So just happy to be here, humbled by the company, and just appreciate the sharing of knowledge.
Yeah, no pun intended. Yo.
No pun intended, yeah.
All right. Cannon, you're good, and let's get out of here. What are your final words on this?
Yeah, man. First, look at Beta's production. I mean, look at Greater Beta. Look at Greater Beta. You know, and the fact that you all are doing what you're doing, and that you are steadfast in your objectives, in creating your platform. You know, I know it's a labor of love for the two of you, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I know it's a whole hell of a lot of work, a whole hell of a lot of work. So I just want you to know that I celebrate it, and I'm proud of you, brothers. And I thank you for the chance to interface with other brothers, because it makes you feel good to see folks doing what they're doing. And you bring people together. That's a huge thing. Continue to be a bridge. Keep doing you. Yo.
Appreciate that, yo. And Knowledge, you're good, and let's get out of here.
Yeah, so want to shout you brothers out. This is my second appearance on the Self Luv Show, so I appreciate it. You know, looking forward to coming back a third time. So I want to leave this for your listeners. 4 things, and it'll probably lead into the next show that's happening in a couple of weeks. But 4 things that separate the rich from the poor. So one is investment or participation in the stock market. That's one, right? So you look at the rich and the poor, right? So you need to participate in the stock market. The second is small business ownership, right? So having a small business, that's the second, right? The third that I like to call is, Tori touched on it, but whole life insurance, right? And understanding how that plays into what you're doing. And then the last one is so you got real estate, right?
Yes.
Real estate ownership. So those are the 4.
Yeah.
Those are the 4 pillars that when you look at usually people that do really well and people that maybe aren't doing as well, you can look at those 4 things, and usually those are the gaps. And so hopefully that's what we're going to on the next episode, or the episode in 2 weeks. But I just thought I would leave the people with that.
Yeah, that was much knowledge. Knowledge is born.
All the time.
Yeah, and brothers, we you know, like I don't know if y'all know Anthony Cake Clark. Cake used to be down on the yard.
Man.
I'm sure JB knew him. He passed away. You know, we had I think our first guest. Who was first? Was JB first, or was Jacob first?
Jacob was first, and then
yeah,
JB
our first guest
was next.
Got shot, attempted murder, and you know he's recovering. Shot multiple times. Cake was on the show. He passed away. I say that not to be morbid. I'm saying that that's part of the reason Self Luv and I started doing this show, is so that we can get this historical data and get this information out here, because none of us are going to be out here on this plane forever. And, you know, at some point, you know, I know Knowledge and you mentioned your kids, and all of y'all mentioned your kids and grandkids, and, you know, they'll be able to one day, you know, man, watch this video, you know, with the one who built it, with the Jay-Z of the family, talking about money.
And we were hacked, and it was deliberately deleted to discourage.
Yeah,
real talk.
Yeah, that just made us go harder though. So, but yeah, we appreciate y'all.
Not this episode.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all, but we don't kick nobody out. But definitely we don't kick any beta nukes out. You know, so y'all show yourselves the door, and we'll see. Hopefully, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Bro, thank you all, man. You all be good, and everybody take care of yourselves, okay?
Yes, sir.
Good being on with you brothers.
Likewise. Yo. Old school in the building. Yo.
All
right, let's see here. All right, man. That was chock full of information. I'm gonna watch this video so many times.
Yeah, I feel like when I saw my children watch a commercial for the first time, that's how I felt about the whole show. Like, I was like, wow.
Yeah, that's how kids are when they see something. What is this, and can I have it?
Man, like, the perspectives that we got right there were, man, that was amazing. I gotta get myself together, because that I was truly a fan of this show, bro, because the gems, like, we had gems from all of them separately, but them together was,
it was the compounding effect. All right, so yeah, absolutely.
you put it in perspective.
Absolutely. And yo to those guys. So so you guys, 2 weeks from today, we're doing accumulating wealth 102, where to allocate funds, potential investments, talk about OPM, which is other people's money. And so I think if this didn't get you to where you need to be, you would definitely want to check out 102.
Oh, man.
Facts. And so, self-love, you got any final words on the topic? Before we do this ain't the Wordsmith's final words. This is your good, and let's get out of here.
I think I said it all. Like, this was an exponentially grow your foundation, and then a couple of weeks you're gonna get a way to escape
slavery. Facts.
Citizenry, being citizens.
Yeah. And
citizens are slaves.
And so the riddle self, hold on, let me redo the dome teaser. Darion's father has 3 sons, Snap, Crackle, and
Darion.
Nice. He's right, because the question was Darion's father has 3 sons. Yeah. But you had heard that before. But did you get it the first time you heard it? I'm sure you got that the first time you heard it.
I don't know. I don't know how I heard it or whatever.
Right.
But I knew that the first time I heard that it was David's father was.
Well, that was it. I changed the name to somebody black.
Right.
Yeah, it was David. Yeah.
Yeah. So that I knew that when I heard it, I listened to it, because it could easily be Snap, Crackle, and Pop.
Yeah, it makes you just want to say pop. Yeah. Shows you about the programming and the conditioning and the commercials.
Yes, and I heard it already. That's what it all boiled down to this time.
Well, nobody solved it in the chat, so great job, Self Love. Hey, you didn't Google it. You heard it before, and that's compounding interest, You remembered it.
Yeah.
All right, and so on June 15th, you guys, we're doing hypertension, a silent killer, and remedies. Yeah, so this one's very close to home and very close to the Black community.
Yes.
We're getting back to our health series, right, Self?
Okay.
And so we've covered hypertension, but we haven't covered it on its own. So we're going to look into that, ways to avoid it, ways to, get things back under control. And it's a red alert to our communities, because they call it a silent killer for a reason.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, I think it's genocide, Self. The white man's poisons, they always coming to the indigenous people and giving us salts and sugars and fattening us up. But we'll get there next week. You're right. Yeah. All right.
Facts, because how it is, bro. Right now, we're dealing with mindset.
Facts. So y'all check in, so that we can get our mindsets right, where we can lower this people that we're losing through hypertension. Tomorrow, Mouthpiece Included, we're doing the history of racism and blacks in pro wrestling. Huh?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All the way back.
I mean, it's crazy. We got, blacks have broken through every sport except for wrestling. It's weird. I give, you know what I mean?
The Rock's, wait a minute. The Rock's father wasn't a champion? I think he was.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying, we
here and there or whatever.
Yeah, we haven't dominated it. I guess it's kind of like wrestling and golf. You know what I mean? And then we're going to tell you if wrestling is real or not, too. All right? If it's staged or not. Huh? For any kids.
Well, I will be checking in.
All right. Enough of my yapping out there. We're going to turn it over to this guy to my right for wordsmiths. Final words out there.
Wow. Final words. You better listen closely to what you heard, because we dealt with a whole lot of knowledge, a whole lot of information, inspiration, much greater than you could get in college. It ain't even close. And I know the truth because I lived the most of seeing where they all went to school other places, plus I learned what to rule. The Creator gave me discernment, and I really earned it. Most of y'all can't even conceive what you heard, don't even know what you believe. Because belief is not knowing. Knowing is showing, improving, and grooving. Make sure that you're choosing the right time. Discernment is earnment. Let me tell you, you're going to learn it at some point. But you need your mind state. It needs to be aligned with the right tools to equip, to change up the script and elevate words.
Well said, bro. Well said. We're going to see if they let this go. They let us get away with something last week. They didn't even ding it. All right. This is Kendrick Lamar. It's called The Heart 5. Big ups. Big ups to K-Dot.
Big ups. Huge ups.
Man, this video was cold. You see the video, Self? He was shape-shifting. You got to watch it. He was shape-shifting into different black historical figures. All right. Here we go. Oh, shit. Bullets are boomerang.
Stand your ground.
Murder is suicide.
Yeah, an eye for an eye.
Facts. Silence is violence.
You see something, say something.
12. Greed plus ego over fear. Slavery.
Charity plus humility times love is freedom.
Facts. Do not. Don't answer questions.
Absolutely. on everything you know. Question everything.
Facts. Everything. Fear. Fear is my friend. I use fear as my friend. He give me... Fear is cap.
Yeah, man. It's only love and the degrees of it. So it's only love. Figure it out.
Facts. Vibrate love. Forgiveness and charity. Those are the highest vibrations of that love.
So do something charitable for a so-called enemy.
Healthy
and
people.
a beef, bro.
Facts. Let's end it. End the beef. Healthy people heal people.
Facts, because hurt people will for sure hurt people.
Free Jeff Fort.
Free Larry Hoover.
Free all the guys, man.
Yeah, man. Prison is slavery.
Be like St. Pedro. Keep your eyes on Yahusha and walk on water.
Yeah, man. Move mountains.
A whole mountain, Nuke.
Oh, bro. What you talking about? That one?
Yeah, that whole...
Yeah, move right out the way.
How we supposed to do that?
Man, we pledge, bro. All we need is the faith of a mustard seed. We already got more than that.
Thanks for y'all support. Vibrate love, spread the word.
Celebrate new life when they come back around.